Good morning and welcome to Sewing Street. I'm John Cole Morgan and I'm so pleased to have you with me today. We've got some fabulous products and a really lovely demo about a Dresden. I love Dresden, so I'm really hoping you can be able to share that with me in this hour. Our 9 o'clock hour, we have got an absolute humongous compendium of quilts. Really looking forward to that. And 10 o'clock, we've got some Quilt As You Go. I've never done Quilt As You Go, so even I'm looking forward to that. So, you're here with us for the first time, nice and early in the morning. You are the lucky ones who get to hear about our wonderful early bird this early in the morning. This is 2 meters of red quilting cotton, and you are going to be saving £3 on that, and it's going to be £10.96. So 2 meters, I'll show you the width of it, because you all know what 2 meters looks like. But it's huge, 42 inches, really stunning red as well. So the great thing about this is it's such a great price. What's also quite lovely is you can make get your Christmas preparations ready, because I know everybody's at home doing lots and bits and bobs at the moment, getting everything ready. But now's the perfect time to start prepping for that dreaded Christmas thing, because we always end up with a little bit of a rush at the end of the year. This is the most perfect red for that. And there's a huge, wonderful series of quilts which are all red and white, and this is just the most fabulous red. It's really good, lovely feel to it, and at that price it's such a great stash builder. You know, if you don't have a project in mind, it's something that you can just pop in your stash, and when you need a good red, there it is. So the joy about being with us this early in the morning is you're going to be able to pop that in your basket, and if you do purchase that, you've got our £3.95 P&P, which is the 1 P&P all day. So basically everything you buy later in the day will not have any postage on it. So it's effectively a little bit of a freebie that you get later on in the day as well. So if you haven't ordered with us before, our website is www.sewingstreet.com. Failing that, if you'd like to use our UK-based call centre, it's 0800 001 4433. And they've got any questions you've got about a product or any queries about anything, you can ask them. Please just obviously be aware we are all doing our level best at the moment. Weird times for everybody, so we are making sure we're keeping our social distancing going. So the warehouse may take a little longer to deliver your order than we'd like, but we want to make sure everybody's safe. And I know you don't mind waiting an extra day or two to make sure that happens. So we've also got a fantastic collection of Liberty fabric. You all know what I'm like with my Liberty fabric. We've got this wonderful pink bundle here. And this is, that's a different, sorry. So we can see, look at them. This is the Pink Liberty Flower Show fabric bundle, 2 meters. So you're getting a half a meter of each one of those. And that's £28.99 for 2 meters. Many of you know about Liberty. Many of you know that their products are so incredible. But this is now not the traditional torn lawn. This is a fabulous quilting cotton. And you just see the detailing of all of Liberty's archives. They've not disappointed us with the fabulous designs on this, but just look at the detailing on it. And whether you've got a project in mind or not, I would definitely be getting this for my little stash as well. Gonna pop my little early bird over there. It's just such a gorgeous pattern. So anybody who's bought Liberty before knows that they've got this compendium of absolutely incredible archive of fabric that they bring out, and they create all these fantastic designs. Just look at this one. Oh, this one's called Hide Floral, and it all comes in our little bundles. So you're getting a half meter of each of these. But look at that. That detailing is incredible. Because with these as well, what I've done with my Liberties is I've taken I just buy the odd fat quarter here or a half meter there when I can, normally when it's on sale or when it's such a good price like this. And what I do then is I cut them into hexagons and I put them in a box. Cut them all into the same size hexagons, and then I'm going to do one of those random EPP hexagon quilts. They just look amazing. Just look at that. And what's so great about this fabric is when people buy the torn lawn, and the torn lawn is quite expensive, we're a bit scared of using it. So when you've got it as a quilting cotton like this, you feel much more comfortable about cutting into it. And it's just such a great, great fabric. It's one of those ones that you save for that special projects. Oh, it's just gorgeous. This one is so adorable. Look at that. This is a proper classic Liberty print, this. They're incredible. One of my friends, Jo, she has this wonderful knowledge and she can name virtually every single Liberty print that's ever been made. She's incredibly talented in that way. I don't mind what they're called, as long as I've got them, I'm happy. So those are the pieces individually, but obviously we've got these as a lovely bundle here for you. £28.99, and that is the lovely bundle there. It just works together so well, and if I flop that round, you can see just with those beautiful colourways, just gorgeous. Lovely, 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 lovely combination there. But we're not only having this one, we've got a second choice for you as well. We didn't want it, so that was our pink collection. This is our blue. So I'll show you as a bundle first. I get too enthusiastic, I want to unfold them all. And I'm really pleased because I got to use these for my Dresden demonstration and they work so beautifully together. Really beautiful fabrics, those. So we've got this really beautiful, beautiful, again, also quite a classic Liberty print. Quite a, I don't know whether that's a ditzy print or whatever, but it is just so detailed. Such great detailing on it. Oh, gorgeous. We've got the lovely cat now coming to zoom in so you can see all our detail there. Don't get too close, you're going to see me after that. But look at that. It's just so beautifully, beautifully printed as well. Absolutely stunning. So these are all 1/2 meters, which I think is a great size. You can do so much with these 1/2 meters. And if you wanted to match it with a plain fabric as well, that would work really beautifully as well. But look at that. Oh, that is just so gorgeous. This is called Cosmos Blossom. It's absolutely stunning. So again, this 1/2 meter bundle, 4 1/2 meter bundle collection is called the Blue Liberty Flower Show. Who doesn't love a Liberty and who doesn't love a flower show? That's £28.99. Oh, look at this. I think each one I work with and each one I look at, I just like more and more. Look at that. Just the subtle detailing on that and the really effortless work of it. Oh, it's just gorgeous. And that's what I love about Liberty is they put so much care and detail into their designs, which is why they're world renowned for their fabric designs. But that effortlessness of it, it just makes your project look even more perfect when you've got such a gorgeous fabric with it. This one is so cute as well. This one is actually, I think that with a light grey or just even a hint of pink in there would be gorgeous. As always, beautiful fabrics coming from Liberty. And I'm so pleased we've got so many of them today. Love these. And with me flicking like that, you saw little bits of mine flying around the table over here. So this is our little bundle now from Liberty, our blue flower show today. £28.99 on that. There we go. That is just gorgeous. So there we go. That is a wonderful combination of fabrics there. But I have to say, one of the most fabulous products that I have used in a long while, forgive me, I'm going to get my open one, is this Dresden 18-degree non-slip Creative Grids ruler. It's been designed by Lynn Edwards. So anybody in the quilting world who's ever bought any books or anything, you all know of Lynn Edwards. She is so, so popular in the quilting world, so talented. I think I've got about 7 of her books already, and she's so, so good. So she's combined her knowledge with Creative Grids to be able to bring this ruler to you, because I think it's always good when you've got a synergy between somebody who's really talented and really, really skilled who work with such a great company like Creative Grids in order to create a ruler that's going to be perfect for you. So I'll just talk you through the little round ruler first. This one, as you can see where there we go. So that is our little ruler there. I'm trying to get so as you can tell, when I turn it upside down, when I get it all flashing like that, now I can't, there we go. You can see those raised circles over here. So those are a little bit like, if you can imagine dull sandpaper, for the want of a better word. So if you're using a normal ruler and you put it on your mat, you've got that lovely soft shiny side there. If you go like that, it moves a lot. So you can see it just moves a lot there. But if you flop this around where it's got these sort of, not sandpapery because they're not rough, but these textured things, if you use your finger with the same way, you can see it doesn't move anywhere near as much. So it's a really great technology that Creative Grids have come up with, because it just helps you, makes your pieces stay more in line and everything. It's a fabulous little circle. So that goes into the middle of your Dresden. And then you've got the actual star of the show, which is the actual Dresden itself, which is, you can't really tell behind my shirt. So give me 2 seconds while I put this blue behind it. And you can see it's just this fabulous little ruler. And it looks like it doesn't do very much, but let me show you how absolutely brilliant this is. So I'm going to start you from the very, very beginning, and we're going to use this lovely fabric that we've got on the show as well. So I'm going to tell you a little secret about this. I was going to do this big bit, these big blades out of the fabric for the Liberty, but as we all do, I set it all up, all ready to go, no problem at all. Cut my line, cut my line, cut my line, and I'd cut 4 5-inch strips instead of leaving a 10-inch strip. We've all done it. And then I was like, oh, could I sew them together? And I was like, no, the Dresdens won't work. Just accept that you messed it up and you're going to have to use another fabric to show on air when we do it. So all you're doing, you cut now as many layers as you feel comfortable with. I have a nice sharp blade in my rotary cutter. I've got 8 layers here. These are 4 different fabrics. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a nice, simple, straight edge to work off of. Just a nice, simple, straight edge to work off of. So I've folded these all here, and I've lined those up to what is here, my 2-inch line. And all I'm going to do is create a nice flat edge to start working from, but also then to make sure that I've got it at the length I need to get the biggest ruler, the biggest that you can get out of this blade, out of the ruler. And by blade, I mean it's actually your Dresden blade, not your rotary cutter blade. And I don't think I went through that bit there. Nope. There we go. So I've got a nice dead end at that point. And then what I'm going to just do is make sure that I can get that there so I know I'm cutting on my 8 line. It just makes your life a little easier having a piece that is exactly... So you're just using... All I'm doing here is to measure the distance between there and here to check that my piece is exactly as wide as I need it to be. So I'm going to move this ruler up along the whole piece of my fabric all the way, just to then set my ruler in place for where I'm cutting to make sure it's going to work. Perfect. Nice firm grip. And the great thing about this ruler that I'm using at the moment, again, Creative Grids, they've got this fabulous technology that your ruler doesn't slip anywhere near as much as it does without those little tiny grooves on it. So again, I'm cutting 8 layers because I'm comfortable. You must do what works for you. Please don't cut 8 layers just because you think I'm doing it, you can. Be comfortable on it. So what I'm doing here, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I'm not cutting towards myself. So I'm lining my ruler up on this edge. So I've got a nice straight edge. You can see my ruler there. I'm lining that up with the edge of my fabric there. And I'm lining this end up perfectly there as well. And I'm moving it along to as close to the edge as I feel comfortable. So I'm going to go with there, right? Hold your ruler down nice, your Dresden template nice and flat, and then you just cut off as many layers as you feel comfortable with. I would suggest If you're not very good at this and you're just starting, do 2. There's no risk. There's no rush. You just do it at your own time and your own speed. So all I've done now is I'm keeping my fabric as close together as I can, not moving it as little as possible. And what I'm doing now is I'm lining my ruler up. So this is what I lined up the first time. This is what I lined up the first time as well. I've just cut this line. So now I'm holding that in place once all 3 of those straight lines are lined up. And I'm cutting off my first set of blades. You can just hear that going through. Oh, look how beautiful that looks. Perfect. So there's my first set of blades. So I put those in a separate section there. But now we've cut that there. All you do now is you rotate your ruler. So you can make sure you, sorry, put my head in the middle of your way there. Apologies, I just had to make sure it was all lined up. So now what you're doing here is you're using as little fabric as possible. So you can now go all the way through here and cut your second blade. And there we go. So then I put my second blade on there the other way round. So you can see I've got one going one way, one going the other way. And this is the great thing about this one is it doesn't really matter if your blades are going, if your fabric's going one way or the other, because you end up with exactly the same size. So now what I've got is I've got a piece of fabric here that you can see you're not going to get a full blade out. So what I've done is I cut out some scrap fabric that I had left over. What I did was I then cut out a 3-inch blade, just because I thought it'd be fun to have a little one. So over here, you'll see on the ruler here, can we zoom in on that, Kat? So this is the top of the ruler, which is 0. That's 0. And then you can see just over here it says 1. And then there it says 1.5. There it says 2, 2.5, 3. This was literally a little piece of fabric that I couldn't get any more blades out of on the other fabric. So what I did is I cut them at 3 inches. So what I'm going to do here is you can tell I can't get the 8-inch blade. So I'm going to cut a 3-inch blade. But if you wanted to use bigger blades, what you do is you just move your blade up to the point here where your ruler is going to be, your Dresden plate template isn't going to be able to allow you to get any more. So actually, I could probably get a 6-inch blade out of that. So I'm going to do that. And all you do now is, because you haven't got it at the top, you haven't got anything, you're going to go, I'm going to follow this against the ruler to the top of the blade and very carefully just go in a straight line across it. That's all you need to do on that. So you'll see there, I'm using my blade, pressing down safely. I've got to the end of my template now. I just push across. And then once I've done that, I pull this fabric this way, not moving the blade at all. And I make sure I'm on the other side of my rotary cutter, so I'm not cutting towards myself. And even better, if you had a rotating cutting mat, that would work really well. So you've then got these tiny little bits here, which are off to Irene to do her crumb quilting. So now you've got your 6-inch blades over there. So when you've done something like that, obviously this next bit needs a bit of tidying up. So what I do then, and the reason I show you this is because we're all going to do it. You've got one of 2 options. You can either then just cut along here and get rid of it, or you take this away because you don't need this fabric anymore. And then what you do is you can then take that and move it along to where it is in the exact point. So this is where you now, if you're being fabric savvy like I like to be, to make sure you're using as little fabric as possible, just rotate the whole piece around, line your ruler up at the bottom here to the nearest you can get, line it up at the top, and then just trim off that little bit there that you're not going to be able to use or would have made your next blade not work. So then, now there's a lot of turning around here. My rotary mat would have been an easier thing. If only I'd thought about this beforehand. And then what you do is you're now at the point where you line that up, that bit, and your newly cut line there, and then you cut your next blade. But now remember, you've only got a portion of the blade, so I start a new pile over there. And then we're back to our same situation again, where you haven't got enough in order to do a full blade. So then what I would do is I would cut this, the nearest one I can get to is 5. So I'll just show you how I do that again. Line everything up, cut across at 5, pull that out. You've made sure you're holding your blade and your fabric all in place. That's all your waste. And there you go. You've now got a 5-inch blade there you can play with. And you just repeat that process all the way through your fabric. So that's how you cut. So you can cut them at different sizes. You can see I've cut them at 3. I've cut them at the big one. So the big one on this is a 9-inch blade. And what's a blade, you ask? That's a blade. So what that is that a funny little, it's not even a triangle, it's a trapezium, I want to say. My geometry was very good at the day, but that was many years ago. So that would be what you're looking at. So that would give you a 9-inch Dresden blade, which in theory should give you around about a 20-inch block, which is huge. So we've now cut out our fabric, so we're all happy with that. That's all good. Now what we do is, I've done these in a slightly smaller scale so you can see what we're doing. So that's what we've done. I've done these as 5-inch blades here for this demo. So what you're going to do then is you're going to fold this in half. Okay, and then you give yourself a little finger press. And now when you're folding it in half, make sure you don't forget about this side, because you need to make sure that you get it completely in half all the way along. Finger press along there, or if you've got one of these fabulous little pressers, and these are when these really come into their own, you can then just follow that along and give yourself a nice good press. So then once you've got that, you're going to sew a 1/4-inch line over here if you want to have a blade, okay? But if you do a blade, get yourself a very small pair of scissors or a big pair of scissors, whatever. And what you're going to do is when you turn these round, if you snip this bit off like that, when you come to turn these inside out, it works a lot better than if you've got a big chunk of fabric sitting in the corner there. And then you're going to use this, I don't even know what this is called. It's called a stiletto. This funny little pointy thing, which we've all got, and if we don't have, we desperately need. So have a look at this one here. And you can see what you're doing now. So if I flip that back again, you'll see what I've done. So that's what I've done. I've trimmed that edge off. I've turned it inside out. And now you can see I've got an okay point there. Can we zoom in on that cat? She's on her way. Here we go. So you can see that's an okay point. You know, it's not, you can see there, it's okay, but it can be better. Do you see the little stiletto just gives you that perfect point? So when you come to do this, you're just sewing that 1/4-inch line. You then line that up. I'm just turning my gorgeous little prim iron on. We're going to wait for that to heat up. So when you've done that, you've got everything all lined up, and that your half line there, you will line your seam line up with that half line, and then you can just use your little presser and give yourself a nice sort of sturdy beginning point to press. And this is where I would actually use both this as well as the iron. Okay, so again you can see, I'm hoping you can still see that, I've kept the seam line in line with this half line that I've got over here. So this seam line here, which I've now got my stiletto on, is following this half line that I pressed into the fabric earlier. Remember where I showed you on this one, I folded it in half. That line there, that crease at the point there, is what we're lining our seam line up with there. And then just quite simply, once you've got that all lined up, you don't move it or shake it or do anything, you just literally, quite simply, press it. And you literally just press it straight down, and that's your press done. And the great thing about that tiny little prim iron is it's the perfect size for this. But now I hear you say, what if I don't want to have a pointy one? What if I want a circular one? So exactly the same way as you have now, you folded that to start with. Exactly the same way. Where is my baby rotary cutter? Where did I hide him? There we go. So exactly the way you've lined that up to start with, on your ruler here, you're going to see that there are some crosses. You can see there's a cross. So you line this black line up with there. So you can see when I do that, my line's not straight. So you're lining that up exactly on that creased line, and you're taking it to just 1 or 2 threads over here on this side of the thread. And then once you've got that, you hold that down nice and tight. I do find a shorter and smaller blade does work a bit easier for this. So I'm using my 22 mil millwood, 28 mil, sorry, not 22. It's very early in the day. So all I've done there is I've trimmed it, and then I've got my blade which has got a curve. So that's quite a nice, you can see that. Now, of course, I'm going to use black fabric to show on a black line how to do this. So this won't show very well on your screen, but the reason I'm cutting a slightly bigger blade is not only to show you in my demo later, but also to give you an idea of the scale that you can cut these any size, but the bigger you go, the more obvious your curve is. So you can see it's a really effortless cut, that. And you can just tell that that pops a lot more when you've got a bigger blade, a bigger Dresden blade. But I do find cutting it on a 28 mil blade works a lot easier. And then all I do once I've done that is, because I've got my center line marked on that, I just press this down again just to get rid of the center line. And then over here, I just do exactly the same thing. And I'm not moving my iron at all. I'm just pressing the blade down like that. If you have got some best press, that would be a good thing to use on this as well. You don't have to, but you can just see with a bit of best press as well. It just gives you that little bit of liquid, and it just firms the blades up as well. But there we go. So you can, and it smells delicious. So if you want to do the best press as well, that also works very well. And you can see that that seam came out completely when I used that best press, but it wasn't coming out before. So now we've got our curves. We've got our curved ones on that. So what now, you say? What now? So what you're going to do is you're going to have 2 of these. Let's say you've got 2 of these blades. Let me just get rid of all these scissors and rotary cutters for the moment. So you can tell you've got 2 of these. What now? So all I do now is I fold these on top of each other. And if you listen to nothing else in my demo, listen to this. First of all, make sure you got your pointy bits out as far as it'll go. So the thing you're doing, the most important thing, is you're lining up this corner bit here on the corner of your blade. If it doesn't line up at the bottom, it doesn't matter, and I'll tell you why in a bit. But this is the most important bit that you line up there. And then you sew a 1/4 inch down this side. Now, if you've got a colour sequence that you're wanting to make sure you keep, make sure you're stitching on the right side. Ask me how I know. So there we go. We pop that in. I keep my my point, which is the most important point for me, at the top, ready to go. And are the sewing gods going to be with me today? They are. This gorgeous machine. I love it. Right. So got my thread cutter. So I've sewn a 1/4 inch all the way down this seam over here. And now I know there are many different debates about whether you press your seams open or whether you press your seams closed. For this, I would suggest you actually do press your seams open, simply because when you come to finish the project, if you don't want a huge lump of seams at the bottom, having your seams open means there's less fabric when you come to join it all up at the end of the day. And again, if you've got some best press, great time to just pop some on there. And that gorgeous, delicious odour just fills the room. It's wonderful. And there we go. So you've now got 2 blades. 2 blades have, 1 blade has become 2. And then you're going to have, I've done these 2. Here's 2 I prepared earlier. You're going to now make 2 become 4. And you're going to, again, you line these points up. And you line that bit up there ahead of that bit there. In theory, if you've done it correctly, they'll be identical, but I've never had it happen that everything works to plan when cutting and pressing and all that. But I do think the best press does help with this process, so that's my little top tip on this one. So now we've got this again, and now 4 has become 2. I then push this back open again, and what I do is each time I'm doing a seam, and I know it can be a pain, but I stitch, press, stitch, press, stitch, press. But it doesn't matter whether you've got a mini iron or a big iron. I just think if you press as you go, it makes your life a lot easier, and I'll show you why in a minute. Right, so now we've got 1/5 of a Dresden plate. So what would happen next is you would keep putting these all together as you go around. As you can see, you go those, and then this bit slots in over there. Now, as you can tell, I pressed some of them as I went and some of them as I didn't. So when I said to you, do it as you go, when you get to this point, and you've now got to press all of these together, it's a real faff. It's the only word for it, because you've got to get your blade in, you've got to get your iron in here, and these little irons are so much easier than the big ones, but it just feels like a bit more of a faff doing it this way. And then you can see over here I've now pressed that one forward again. So just make sure you do what works for you, but that is but again, shoving it all with best press makes life a lot easier as well. And you can see then in the middle, having all your seams pressed open does make your life a lot easier, because you haven't then got any additional bulk in the middle. So there we go, almost done. And I think this is my last seam to press. So there we go, that's there. What is this, 4/5 of my Dresden, and then that is going to slot in there. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to stitch this one first and then come back and stitch that one. And I'm going to press them as I go. So again, I'm making sure that this bit is lined up ahead of this bit, and this is actually a perfect one to show you. So you can see I'm ever so slightly over at the bottom, but my top is lined up, and that is what's important. Now, if you don't understand what I'm saying, or you don't get the tutorial as well as I hope you will. Ow, I've just dropped my iron on my foot. Never a good idea, sorry. Sorry about that. If you haven't got that all, if that hasn't all worked for you, the great thing about Creative Grids is that every single ruler you buy, they give you this fabulous set of instructions. And all these instructions on how to do it are all in here on what is the best way of making sure you're getting the best out of your ruler. And they've got I didn't know that. I've just heard that if you've got a QR reader on your phone, and you pop that reader over your Creative Grids ruler, you'll see that there's a little QR reader there. That will then get you. Should we show on the overhead? That's probably easier. So you can see that little QR code there. That will then give you a demonstration of exactly how you use your iron as well, your grid as well. Wish I'd known that. Little YouTube videos are very, very informative, which is great. So there you go. This one we're very good. It matches at the top and the bottom. So I line that up again, get ready to go. And then so now we're at that point now where we're just pressing that last seam. I'm going to press that open. And at this point as well, I'm just going to give it a nice squirt of loveliness with that. And that just holds it perfectly in place for you. And you can see I'm just pressing with my iron, I'm not dragging it along. And you've now got your first official Dresden plate, which I think is so, so cute. So you've got many options with this. So you can do that, or if you want to do the curved ones, you can do the curved ones. So the curved ones look like that. But if you didn't want to do any of them and you wanted them to be completely straight, like a wheel, you can do them like that. So this is all I've done is cut the blades out and sewn them all together. That is then where you've got your little bit of curves on it. So you can see the curves at the top there. And if you want to have your triangles on the point, that's the way you're doing it there. And these are all 5-inch blades. So in theory, I can tell you now, from point to point, you are looking at 11.5 inches for that one. That's for the triangular one. For the circular one, oh, the circular one's coming out at 12 inches. And where you haven't cut it all, it's coming in at 12.5. So they all vary accordingly. So this is the main way that you would do them. But there is some great alternatives because you've made that. Okay, so then if you wanted to do, let's say, a half one, there you go. The half one's ready. This one hasn't been, it just needs to be pressed on the edge, otherwise you've got a raw edge thing. But you just fold that back as you would if you were stitching it, you would press that back. And then you've got a half one to do. So what works really well with these is if you've got your, where have I put it? Here we go. So we've got some fabulous cream fabric as well. So what I love about this cream fabric is it's a great base to do a quilt. So this is a 1/2 meter of cream. Oh, I hear we've sold out about it. Sorry about that. I thought it was, can tell how popular it was. So if you wanted to do this, I'm going to open this up as well, just to give you an idea of how I would display these. You are spoilt for choice. So you can pop these on. So if we, let's put the curved one on the edge, this one there, and then we can put the pointy one over there. I'll drag that down a bit so you can see. And you can do these however you like. But let's say you've done that and you think, actually, I don't want a full one there. I'm going to put that in the corner. Let's say you wanted a half one. You can put a half one there. Or if you're at the bottom of your quilt, you can then put the half at the bottom of your quilt. And then equally, which most people haven't thought of, is when you get to the corners of your quilt, you can put them in the corners as well. I move that up, there you go. You can see that the corners work beautifully there as well. So the great thing with this is you can do 4 of these in each corner. You can make 3 or 4 of these in the middle. And the way of doing these, you can have them completely open in the middle, or you cut the circle out, and I did cut the circle out, there we go. You can cut your circle out and put that in the middle, and it's that same ruler there. You can then cut the circle out and put that in the middle. So when I said to you before about making sure you press these open, the reason being is that if you put your circle on in the middle, if they were all to one side, it may get a little bit bumpy when you're stitching that on. But having that flat on the back, oh, I've pressed that to one side, that was why. So you can feel these are a little bit more bumpy, whereas these are pressed open. You've got that a lot more, a much flatter way of putting your circle on top of that. So you can see there, that just works so well. But you can also leave them open as well if you'd like, because what people do is they can leave it open. You may want to turn these round if you're leaving them open, just so you don't have a raw edge, or satin stitch all the way around to make sure that that doesn't fray. If you do one of these, you can actually then go and embroider initials on there. You can do a little daisy or a little different design on that as well. So that's a really lovely way of doing that. Now, because I had my wonderful moment of absolute genius by cutting all my fabric in half like I did earlier, and we've all done it, you know what I'm talking about. What I did as well, then I used my fabric from home. So this isn't available on the channel, but this is the fabric that I used at home. This is the giant one, and look how big that comes out at. So I've only used 2 colors there, alternating them, but you can see how beautifully that works as such a big block there. I'm just going to look at the size of this one. So this is where I use the full 9-inch blade, and that's coming in at 18.5 inches. So that one was where you can tell now, I'm just going to show you here, that my blade was there. That's how big it was. Oh, it wasn't. That was even smaller than the one I thought. Sorry about that. Hang on. Am I right? Oh, I am wrong. So that was the 8.5, that was an 8-inch blade. That was an 8.5-inch blade. But that's the great thing about this ruler. This isn't the biggest you can go. You can get even bigger on it, because you can see here, if I pop that in there, oh, that would have worked so well with that fabric. You can tell there, if I folded this in, I can actually do it now. Because the great thing about this is it's so quick to do. Wow, I am hearing if you are interested in this ruler, please don't hang about. We've got less than 20 of them left now. And again, remember, I'm cutting this edge off there just to make the folding in a little bit easier. Where's my little sticky pointy bit, my stiletto? Why are you hiding from me? It's under the cream. It's got to be. There we go. So now what I've done is I've just done that. I turn it in. Use my lovely little pointy bit to get it out. And this does work a lot better than a chopstick, because I know a lot of people use chopsticks, but because you've got that lovely point, it does work well. And also, if you want to ease it out, you've got this lovely little rubber edge there, which means the pointy bit won't go through your fabric. So you can see that that isn't too far off the size that I had it. So you can see that that can get to probably be an inch bigger than that if you're going to be doing this. So it'll be just under a 20-inch block. So that was nice with the points. But equally, if you wanted to do quarters again with the curves, that works really well as well. So what I'm just going to show you as well, now please forgive the fact I'm using my own fabric, but I wanted to just show you, if you're wanting to do a quarter and you've decided, or you want to do any shape, but you wanted to do the curved edge, I just want to show you how you line that up as well. Oh, getting a little bit of a flick in there. Get this cream back. So what you do here is, at the moment, you can tell you've got everything nice and pressed. And just like with the other one, where we lined our top bit up here, the important bit to line up is this bit here. So you want to make sure that that point and that point match exactly. And if it doesn't match down here, it's not a problem, because that's normally going to be covered in a circle. And if it's not covered in a circle, you're going to satin stitch it down. And satin stitching covers a multitude of sins or erroneous errors made on live television. So here we go. Now with this, remember, you are on the bias of your blades all the way along here. So don't pull the fabric, don't be jiggling it around. Just make sure you just let the machine pull the fabric through on its own. And there you go. You can see you've now got that ready. If you don't have an iron and you wanted to use one of these, this works very, very well as well. Make sure you just push your fingers along and just guide it along as it goes. Just applying a little bit of pressure, not too much. And then again over here, this one's been in my bag, so you can see it's gone a little bit wonky. Oh, we've had a question in from Sheena. Morning, Sheena. Great. She's saying great demo. So how would I finish the raw edges on the blades with the circular ends? So what I would do with this is, when you're attaching it onto your cream, so I'll just lay this out again now. And I'm not going to do that now because my satin stitching on live tele, I'm not risking that. So when you're lining this up to attach it onto your fabric, you're going to do a satin stitch all the way along here and all the way along here, because you want to keep this on the fabric. So when you're doing your satin stitching all the way along here, that will finish your raw edge for you. And what could be fun is maybe you chose a color from in here, like this beautiful orange, and you did your satin stitch in a bright orange. That would then just finish it so beautifully. And then equally, if you're doing it on the inside, you could do the satin stitch there as well. Failing that, you're going to use one of these big circles on the inside, because I think the inside's a little bit easier because you can hide it with that. And to use this, you would cut your circle out of that. If that's too big for you and you want to do something smaller, you could take the bottom of your Best Press bottle and do that. It's entirely up to you how you do it. But I do think this ruler does work much better because it is actually proportioned to what you're doing, and it comes free with the blade as well, with the Dresden as well. So I hope that explains how you're doing that. And then what you're doing then is, because I've now done 10 of these, I would then attach that again onto here, lining these two up here and going through. The only thing to just be aware of when you are doing, and again, you can go down to do really, really small ones as well. The only thing I will say to you is when you're sewing these together and you chain piece them through, be very careful which edge you're sewing on. Ask me how I know. So what you're doing here is because you normally do them in groups of 2, am I in the right place? So you can go down and make these tiny ones as well, because I love a smaller bit as well, because it gives me a bit more of a challenge doing it. What I do is I line these all up in order. Oh, that's the wrong order. I line these all up in order first, and then I take 2, and when I'm ready to do them, I always put them this way, and I know that I'm always sewing on the right side. So I pop those on there, I'm sewing on the right side. Pop those ones there, I'm sewing on the right side. Pop that one there, sewing on the right side. I think that just gives you a nice way of doing it. And what you do is you do them in 2s, press them, 2s become 4s, press them, 4s becomes 8, press them, 8s become 16, press them, and then you'll have a blade of 4 left over. You pop that in at the end. So that is a really, I hope that's a nice comprehensive way of showing you how to use this ruler. Sorry I had to use my own fabric. I will be much more cautious on when I cut my demo pieces ahead. But the good thing is there's such little waste of fabric. And the great thing is if you've got a fat quarter or something that you really love, tie it up, because that is exactly what I did with this. This fabric I adore. And all I did was I cut a contrast, but a bold contrasting color with it. So if you had this, for example, you can see how beautifully that goes with the black as well. It just pops so beautifully. So just go a little bit out of your box when you're using it, because something so simple as using your fabric there and popping a bold with it works very, very well. We've got a bit of navy coming up in the next hour. That would work perfectly with a lot of these colors as well. And it then extends you can use more of your fabric that you love by adding it in with some fabric that gives it a nice big pop. So it's just a nice way of doing it. Yeah. Really great ruler, lovely little shapes that you can do. And the good thing is I don't think I showed you the directions of how you're doing it. So we'll do this on the overhead now. You can see, oh, I hadn't thought of that. So that's actually very clever. Let me show you that on here. What they're doing there is just like I cut the fabric, you can actually line your blades up like this and sew these together as a separate quilt. That's very clever. And you just keep going like that. Let's just alternate those. You can see that you're doing that quilt there, where all you're doing is you're alternating. You do a light to dark of your triangles there to be able to quote them. And if you're sewing these, you would sew this one to this one, like that, end to end, and your ends will meet exactly. So you can see that end and that end will meet exactly. You sew along there, press it back, and then this one you'll go there, press along there. And then when you're on the other side, when you're coming to do these, when they come on this side, you just need to then match your points up here to the points left in on this side. So that would be a different way of doing it as well. I hadn't thought of that. But the great thing is the ruler has got so many different options on it. Beautiful designs in this, a lovely way of doing it. It shows you literally step by step in every way you want to do it. If you're doing a pointed end, or if you're doing a curved end, don't lose the instructions. So you've got this lovely great, the blade, do it on the here, I'll pop it on the cream so you can see it better. So that's the ruler you're getting. It is a 9-inch blade that way. And then you're also getting this lovely circular template here, which will help you for not only trimming your curves, but also making the circles like this to go in the center of your Dresden that you want to do. And the fabulous instructions that go with it. Obviously the cream fabric is not included, wish it was, but that blade, this is a really lovely, lovely product to be able to have from there. I'm really, really happy we've got this. And I really enjoyed it. And as you know, when I do use a ruler and I get excited and I cut lots out, it means I've loved it. So you can see how many I've got there. So I'm hoping I can go and make those into a nice big quilt as well. So yeah, and these tools go very, very well with it. This is our little stiletto. This is our little press bit on it. Nice little prim iron. So there we go. So you've seen a lot of the blue Liberty bundle that I was using there. Let me now show you the pink Liberty bundle again that we've got. can do this on the overhead. So the colour on our overhead may be slightly different. The colour you see on me now is the colour of the fabrics there. For the overhead just sometimes goes a bit funny with the colours. But the good thing with the overhead is I can show you the detailing on these fabrics. They are just so adorable. Look at these. See, I don't know if these are snowdrops or bluebells. No, they're bluebells because they're blue and they're shaped like a bell. See these beautiful bluebells, and they've got that lovely chevron shape to them with this beautiful design in the middle way. It does actually look a bit like a stained glass window, doesn't it? It's brilliant. And then we've got this lovely pink as well, which we can zoom in on as well. I love zooming in because you get nice and close to all the design and you can see exactly what it is that it looks like. And then that one as well. Oh, I think I got that upside down. Oh no, it's non-directional. Just look at the detailing of this flower over here. I think it's got 6 different colours just in that tiny little section there. And these tiny little blobs of fruit as well. It's just beautifully, beautifully done. And then just this beautiful soft rose as well. You're getting a ½ metre of each of these pieces, and that is £28.99. Liberty quilting cotton fabric, absolutely divine. Got to love a Liberty. And that's our pink flower show bundle there. And there we go. So you can see I'm just getting it in the right spot. So we've got this lovely blue one as well, which I was working with during my demo. You can see just how beautifully that works as well. I'll show you the detailing on all these. What I love is these details, the little lines over here. It's so cute. And just the subtle pop between dark and light over there just makes the fabric so effortless. And then we've got a second blue over here as well, which is so cute. I love that. And just this lovely gap between them all just works so, so beautifully. Then we've got our third colorway over here. This is called Cosmos Field or something, was it? I just remember it's got cosmos in it because that's a very popular flower in South Africa. I always remember in spring we go down and there are acres and acres and acres of fields filled with cosmos. It's absolutely stunning. And then you've got this beautiful little ditty print here as well with a tiny little, I don't even know how big they are. I'm just going to pop the ruler on there and you can see, but just look how beautiful they are. For that size, the detailing and the print, the actual quality of the print is so perfect. What would you expect from Liberty? And then this is the bundle together. I'm getting this in the right place. So that's a ½ metre of each for £28.99. So we're going to just recap our early bird, because you're our early birds, joining me nice and early this morning. We've got 2 meters of this gorgeous red fabric for £10.96. That's a saving of £3. A really nice product to have. Nice, beautiful red. Sometimes finding the right red is quite hard. And the good thing with this is at that price for £10.96, it's just a great stash buster, getting ready for Christmas, or I'm actually doing a red and white quilt at the moment. So I've got that, well, I've had that in my mind for ages and I've got the red, but this is actually a beautiful red now. So I might actually change it to this red. Really, really nice that. If you are buying 1 or 2 units of this, if you're buying more than 1 unit, these are pre-cut at 2 meters. So if you do buy 2 or 3, they will come as 2 meter cuts on their own. So there we go as well. So we've had these on before and I think they're adorable. These are our early bird from the other day. Can't remember where it is, but what we're doing at the moment for the early birds is if it hasn't sold out, we're just keeping it on so that you can get it. So you're getting effectively 2 early birds today. This scissor kit set is 21.5 centimetre. I'm not sure where the right place is for that. Oh, there we go. 21.5 centimetre scissors. You've got your beautiful thimble, which fits perfectly on my finger, and my finger's relatively large. Oh, picking those up upside down and back to front. Get this lovely set of thread truing scissors as well. And you're getting this wonderful box of pins, and all in a lovely presentation box, all for $14.99, saving a £5 on that. They're so popular that we keep bringing them back to you because they keep being asked for. And at that price was such a great deal. Make sure you check out on those as well so you don't leave them behind. I'm going to pop these back in. And this is the presentation box you get with it. So you can be able to see. Hopefully I can close it. Oh, I can sort of close it. So you can see that's our lovely little presentation box with it as well. And you can see, as a little gift, it's a nice one to wrap and do all of that. But now, for the very first time for me on Sewing Street, we have Moda. Moda is one of the most fantastic companies. They started in America in 1975 under the name of United Notions, but we know them all as Moda. And people mainly know Moda because of their pre-cuts. They've got jelly rolls, layer cakes, charm packs, fat quarter bundles, fat eights, long quarters. They started the whole pre-cut notion, and it is so genius. And these ladies that have done this are called Three Sisters. And I'm going to try and remember if I can get this right. It's Alison, Jackie and Tammy are the three sisters. And I think it's, I can't remember who is in charge of it all, for the want of a better word. But these ladies are so, so wonderful. They are traditionally working together to make sure that they can create a synergy of fabrics together, which each of them designed the different aspects of it to bring you this sort of vintage, traditional, chic fabric, which are just so beautiful. And they've got this, I'm not quite sure how many series as they've done, but I love their ranges. Year on year, they come up with the most fantastic designs, and they have not let us down today. Today, we've got a bundle of 9.5 meters for $66.99. Oh, I'm going to get these in the right place. Let me see. There we go. Sorry, bear with. So these are also available by the half meter, but if you're buying these today as a bundle, just look how beautifully they go together. It just works so effortlessly there. But the great thing with these is that there's so much fabric here, 4.5 meters. As any form of heirloom quilt or any quilt project that you've been looking at and you haven't found the right fabric for, you can see the coordinates go so it coordinates so beautifully here. And you've got your lights, your darks, your mediums. It just works so, so beautifully. Let me show you each one by each piece as they go. This is called bouquet on indigo. Every time I hear the word bouquet, I think of hyacinth bucket. I know I shouldn't, but look how beautiful that is. I'm going to flick that forward, forgive me, just so you can see more of it. Look at that. Gorgeous strawberries there. This is the correct color. We're going to look at it on the overhead as well. So this may not be the exact color of it. The color you saw on the screen a few moments ago, that is correct. And then you can just see the detailing on it is just so, so beautiful. So the great thing with this is we've brought you the navy bundle today, normally probably because I love blue, but there are loads on the website. So if you just type in on our website, www.sewingstreet.com, you'll be able to see there's a search bar just above the YouTube and live feeds. And if you type in there Moda, all of Moda's loveliness will just pop up there. Oh, I just love them. Really lovely fabric, that one. We'll start with this one next. So this one's called Budding Vines on Gold. Just look at that. And that's the colorway you're going to get. Just look at that pop of red and that beautiful detailing between it. It just looks like it's got a color overlaid on the mustard, and they haven't, because it's just tiny little black dots on the leaves. I love my little stiletto that I can do it as a pointer as well. We're going to have a little look at these tiny little tiny black dots as well, just to show you how beautiful they are. Look at that. It just works so beautifully. You can just see the weave of the fabric there, but that's how clever the detailing is and how tiny those dots are. And you can just see that as we zoom out, you can see those tiny little dots there change the color of the leaf. So it looks like it's a totally different color, but it's actually just a tiny little black dot. That's just the color that you're seeing at the moment is not the correct color. The color you saw on the screen a few moments ago is. But that just goes down to the level of detail that these three sisters work together in to be able to get you a really quality fabric, which are beautiful designs as well. And can you tell I'm getting better at my folding? So this one is also a vine one. This is budding vine on silver. So this is the same design, but just totally different because it doesn't have the red in it. And that gorgeous grey on it is really lovely. And of course, I would never dream of calling this a blender fabric. I suppose everybody's kind of trying to put everything in a box. This isn't a blender fabric. This is Three Sisters by Moda. They're amazing. And again, you can just see the beautiful detailing on this fabric. And this fabulous stiletto. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Can we just look at that selvage again? I love this. I have never seen a quote on a selvage before. They've all got different quotes. I had to know that. So this one says, "Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving," by Albert Einstein. Oh, how brilliant. Love that. Don't worry, I'll read the selvages to you for the rest of them. So that's only the third one in our bundle today. We've got 6 more to go. This is called Flourish Script on Indigo. Look at that. Doesn't that just feel so luxurious? So the color you're seeing on your screen now is the correct color. When we switch the overhead that you see now, I'm just going to get rid of my little threads from my demo. Oh, wow, look at the detailing. There's actually writing over here. And here you can see there's little bits of writing here as well. Just so brilliant there. I'm just looking here at the selvages, and the selvages say the same thing on each one. It's really, really such a clever addition to it. But what a nice way of just an additional thing, because I love my selvages. Just a nice little add-on design by the Three Sisters to get this right. And I love the fact that they are actually 3 sisters. It's not just a gimmick made up. Oh, wow, this one's lovely. What's this one called, Kat? This is called Porcelain. Oh, look at that. Gosh, isn't that a house we'd all want to have? Look at that. All these music notes, and if I go down a bit there, you can see the architectural features there of that house. Look at that. Gosh, it's beautiful. And then we'll look at it on the, I'll put it the right way around, and we'll look at it on the overhead as well, so you can see all the detailing on this. You can see this beautiful butterfly over here as well. And these thistles here, and there's a tiny little bug on this thistle as well, which I hadn't noticed until then. And again, this little bird. Really, really cleverly done this. Just such a gorgeous design. And that's, I think, what's great is when you've got people that have known you all your life and you work so well together and you can create that synergy, you kind of come up with these ideas, I'm sure, just by kind of having a conversation, and they've got that sisterly intuition where they just complete each other's sentences and things. So this one's called Romantic Blue. Bloom, sorry, not blue, bloom. Look at that. So the color you're seeing on your screen at the moment is the correct color. Oh, that's so luxurious. It just feels so expensive. So this by the half meter is £7.49. What we're going to see on the screen now may not be the exact color, but it just shows you the detailing of it. It's sort of a mottled, batik-esque feel on the back as well, just sort of that wash thing. But you can just see these beautiful little detailing with these tiny little flowers. And actually it's got a dark red and then a light pink in the middle of it for that tiny little flower over there, and a yellow middle. And you can see this one as well. It's got a dark pink, light pink, and a yellow in it. It's just the detail is so brilliant. So a half metre of that one is £7.49. And this is now our 6th one in our bundle. Our bundle is 4.5 meters. You've got 9 different fabrics at 1/2 meter each. And this one is called, it's what on natural? Rosebud on natural. Look at that. Just zip that forward again for you. Gosh, that's so pretty. And the colour you see on the overhead may be slightly different. The colour you saw a few seconds ago, that's the correct colour. But look at the detailing on that. This is Rosebuds on natural. Just such a cute, cute design, that one. And it's what on indigo? Sprigs. Oh, Sprigs on indigo. Oh, just so lovely. You know me loving a dark blue. Look at that. It's just so simple, but so effective. This is £7.49 for 1/2 meter. And now we're going to look on the overhead where the colours may be slightly different, but you can just see the detailing on it all there. Look at that. Just so, so beautiful. It's almost like a starry night, isn't it? That was Sprigs on Indigo. Gosh, I feel like I've been going for ages. Now we've got our last one now. This is called Trellis Indigo. I'm a little... Look at that. Gosh, doesn't that look good? Look at that. Just look at that design. It's just so, so cute. And there we go. So that one was also £7.49 for 1/2 meter. And then back to show you now the full bundle we've got for our 4.5 meter bundle. It's 9 different fabrics at 1/2 meter, and that's £66.99. Oh, give me 2. Am I in? Here we go. So, oh, I'm so excited. We've got Moda. I love a bit of Moda. So there we go. That's my first Moda demo. I hope I did them justice because I adore their fabrics. And that is our first hour ready to go. So the next hour, we've got loads of quilts, which I'm very excited about. You know, I get very loving on those. So if you don't mind hanging about for a few minutes while we go and change our set, we'll have some infomercials and some chat from myself and Debs and Vix to keep you entertained. And we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
Hello and welcome. We love hearing from you and we really hope that you can follow us on our social media platforms. We've got Instagram, which is at Sewing Street. We have Facebook. We've got two Facebook pages. One is the Sewing Street TV page and the other one is Sewing Street Fans. All three of these are monitored all the time by our wonderful team, and if you want to message us on air, drop us a line on either of those three and we'll definitely be able to answer your questions that you may have. If you post on the actual wall, we can perhaps answer there. Otherwise, message us as well. That works really, really well. Thank you so much for being involved, and it's only because of this community that we're able to bring you all these different diverse products and to be able to answer your questions that you may have. Another way you can stay in touch with us is by signing up to our newsletter. These newsletters are sent out to you very regularly and they include not only our guest profiles of upcoming guests, but also amazing shows that we've got coming up for you. And if you want to look at the amazing products before everybody else, that's the best way to do it. If you'd like to sign up and you haven't already, the link to follow is www.sewingstreet.com/sign up. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
Hi, I'm John Cole Morgan and I'm here to give you my top tips on how I go about enjoying my sewing experience. My first top tip, as everybody knows, rotary cutter safety. If you're not using it and it's not on the mat, that blade must be locked. Please be safe. My second top tip is always buy more fabric than you need. If you don't have it, it's always going to sell out. You're going to struggle to find it, and when you do, it's going to cost you a lot more than when you were going to buy it originally. So buy it all. You always regret the bit you didn't buy. My next tip is positive or negative, always listen to the advice and opinions of other people. Even if you ignore them, everybody has a different perspective, everybody has a different take on things, and it might help you along the way. The next top tip I have is always buy the most expensive and the most useful and the most practical for your brain product that works for you. Some people prefer different things, buy what works for you. And my last tip is, this is fun, this is enjoyable, and make sure you are enjoying it. Because there's nothing worse than carrying on with something and hating it and not enjoying it. You need to make sure that you're having fun. Those are my top tips and how it is that I enjoy my sewing experience. I hope they help you, because they have helped me. For more handy tips and demonstrations, make sure you watch us on our Freeview channel 74, Sky channel of 670, otherwise follow us on YouTube on Sewing Street, where you can catch up on past demonstrations and shows. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Hello, welcome to Sewing Street for my second hour this morning. I'm John Cole Morgan and I am so excited to bring you a whole compendium of all my quilts and all the different projects that I brought to you over my last few weeks with you. Very excited about that, so thank you very much for joining me for that. We've got our website, www.sewingstreet.com. If you haven't been able to look at that yet, pop down. We've done a bit of editing on it now, so you've got categories where you're able to actually go and can search our entire website by different categories. So if you're looking for books and patterns, that's in one section. If you're looking for different bits and bobs, they're all in that as different sections. The website, as you can see, is on your screen now. If, however, you want to call our UK-based call centre, they're just down the road here. It's 0800 001 4433. They'll be able to answer any of your questions or queries and be able to help you with where we go. So the very first one I'm going to start off with today is what you actually need when you're going to start quilting, because that is actually one of the top questions I get asked every single time somebody comes to talk to me about quilting and say, I've never done it, what do I need? So the very, very first thing you're going to need is a big, huge mat. I always tell people buy the biggest one you can because they're going to last you forever. Spend a little bit more money and make sure you get some good quality one on it. This one is a millwood. It's 34 inches by 22. And the great thing about it being so wide is that 90% of quilting fabric will actually fit on the full length of the mat. So when you're cutting your different strips and sizes, you can easily fold the fabric in half and it will fit nice and snugly into this mat there. And then you've got the 34 inches this way, so you've got a nice big area to work on. You've got your 30-degree line, 45-degree line, 60-degree line, and you've got it on both sides of the mat. So if you're left or right-handed, it works for both of you. You'll be able to see that you've got your number over here, and then just above it, you've got a circle around your number. So if you are using the mat upside down, or you are left and right-handed, whatever works easier for you, you'll be able to see you've got the different measurements along the way. 17 being your midpoint, 16, 15, 14. So if you are left-handed and you wanted to use the ruler from this way or right-handed from the other way, forgive me, I've got that the wrong way around, this mat is perfect for you. And not only have you got the imperial on this side, you've got the metric on the other side as well. I'm not going to show you the metric. You're going to trust me on that because I'm worried I'm going to dismantle the entire scene if I do that. So that would be my first pick of things that you need to have. Second one that you need to have is a really good 6-inch by 24-inch ruler. This one's 6.5 by 24.5, so you're getting that little bit extra bit of a ruler. But what is so great about this ruler, as I try and find the light to be able to show you the reflection there, so with this, you can tell I've got this sort of raised area here of this circle and the raised area of the circles here. This is the back of the ruler, so you can see all these lovely little raised areas. There you go. You can see them there. And there are quite a lot of them, so they go all the way through. And then if you flip the ruler around, you've got all these gorgeous writings and bits and bobs that you need there. But the difference is, if you've got a normal traditional ruler that you're buying that doesn't have the grips, that's what's going to feel like on the smooth side without anything on it. So if I just put my hand here and move my hand like that, you can see my rulers moving. So if you're cutting something and you haven't got those grips, so this is the grips, let me show you there. So again, I'm applying the same amount of pressure, same amount of movement. You can tell the ruler's not moving as much as it was when it was the other way round, and I'm applying a little bit of pressure there and you can see it's moving. What's so important about that is when you're cutting your fabric, if you've got these grips on there, it's less likely your ruler's going to move and you'll be able to be more accurate on your cutting of your fabrics. So that brings me to the next section, my next thing that I tell people they need, a rotary cutter. Now, I am fastidious on my rotary cutter safety. If your rotary cutter is on the mat, the blade may be open. You can tell there it's open. Only when it is on the mat and you get to the end of the mat and you finish cutting, as you're lifting up, it should be automatic that you're locking it. It is so important. So many injuries happen with rotary cutters. Please be very, very cautious on it. But this is the one I use at my studio. Really great price on this. 45mm rotary cutter from Millwood, $8.99. So this is a really great product, this. And then if you are going to be doing foundation paper piecing or using some of the curved Creative Grids rulers, I would say that you also do need to consider getting this 28mm Millwood rotary cutter as well. Again, very good price of that, $6.99. And the reason you'll see later is that smaller blade just makes it that little bit easier to be able to have a bit more control using the different rulers and things that we go. And then sadly, the very last thing that I hate telling people they need, but it isn't as essential, is the unpicker. You do need to have an unpicker. This is a really nice one that we've got here. I think this is from Madeira. seam ripper, and such a great price today, £2.99. So that is just a real, unfortunately, it's a reality. It doesn't matter how good you are in sewing, you are going to need an unpicker. So when you're doing it, you can then just say, rip it, rip it, rip it. And we don't call it unsewing or anything like that. We call it frogging. So those are my top tips on tools that you're going to need if you're going to do any form of quilting. So have a little check in those and see what you can find. So the very first thing we're going to start off with is my beginner's foundation paper piecing. This is in a different colorway to what I'm suggesting, simply because I haven't made it up in the fabric yet. But this is what you're going to get. That's what you're going to make. So should I say that's what you're going to make? This is in my colorway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in the colorway that we have chosen, which I think is much softer and so much nicer. And you'll see that the pieces are actually a little bit bigger than what's in the original there, because I wanted you to have a little bit of a bigger piece. But it's great, this little piece, because you're getting a project that isn't daunting. It's all foundation paper piece, so you'll be able to see the back there. I've kept the papers in just for simplicity, so because some people don't understand what foundation paper piecing is. Being able to keep the fabric in shows you what it is that you're getting. So now that you've seen the sample, let me show you the kit that you're going to get. So this is the colorway of one of the flowers and one of the pots. So you saw I had that really, really bold purple previously. I've now got a slightly softer purple here. Forgive the lovely press on that. It's been in my bag. I didn't press it very well then. But this is the colorway that you're going to get. This is brought to you by this fabulous bundle of fat quarters. They are fat quarters, aren't they? So these are these lovely fat quarters here. Really lovely, gorgeous color, lightweight fabric, these. So you're going to get these fat quarters. You're also going to get 1/2 meter of this gorgeous green. And the reason why you're getting 2 different greens is on this pattern, you'll be able to see, if I use my trusty unpicker for something other than frogging, you'll be able to see that we've got these leaves here, and we've got these 2 leaves in the stems. I'll show you that in the overhead in a little while. But what I wanted there is to be 2 different greens that you can do all your stems and leaves in one green or another green, and have your stems, but to be able to have enough green to be able to do the project and have them different. And you can see as well, I've got this lovely big dark green border. So you've got you've got 1/2 meter of this green. I think we've got 1 meter of this green, and then 1.5 meters of the white. Is that right? I think that's what it is. So you've got 1/2 meter of this, you're getting 1 meter of this one, and 1.5 meters of the cream. And the reason we're giving you a nice big chunk of the cream is you can back it in this. You've got enough definitely to do there, and you should have enough of the backing as well. And then this one, you've got more than enough of the binding, the border, and the inside of that as well. There's a huge amount of fabric on this. And the great thing is I've taught this before, and if you look at the demo, the great thing about our channel is we've got our YouTube channel. It's on www.youtube.com, and then you search for Sewing Street. If you click subscribe, you'll be able to then get notifications every time a video goes live on there. And then if you look on the videos section, you'll be able to see every video that we've ever uploaded. And the date that I did this will be the 25th of March. So you'll be able to see a full demo of how I made the piece. And the great thing there is also with the channel, you're getting that added little bonus that all your tutorials and all the things that we've taught you are always on the YouTube channel. You'll always be able to go back and see them. So that's a really nice thing to be able to have. And then on top of the 3 meters of fabric here and the fat quarter bundle, you're also getting this fabulous pattern, which has got all the templates you need. There we go, all the templates you need, all the instructions and the colorways and how you're doing it all, and just how I did it in the brights color. And then you can use these fabulous fat quarters to be able to make the same product. So that stand. What could possibly go wrong with things falling over on telly? So you're going to get the pattern. You're going to get these 3 meters of fabric and the fat quarter bundle there for $39.99. And I can tell you here now, there are less than 5 of these left. We're not sure we're going to bring these back again. So anything that we do have on the show today, make sure if you are interested in it, Don't hang around because there are less than 5 of them and we might not have them back on the show again. So just make sure if it's something you want, don't hang around. So that is my cushion cover beginner's foundation paper piecing course now. I'm going to put this, I'm running out of space today. So next we're going to do the intermediate quilts for my FPP. What cream? So, first thing you're going to get with this is, let me show you what you're actually going to be making. So, the first thing we're doing is the grey version. So many samples, it's wonderful. So, look, oh, I've just knocked over my stand, sorry about that. Look at the stunning, stunning quilt. All FPP, so every single one of these has been through the machine, been actually hand sewn onto paper, and then you're tearing the paper off as you go. Just a beautiful, beautiful project. So this I've called the intermediate one because you don't have this really thick flying geese border all the way around. This one again I did as a class on the 25th of March, so you'll be able to go back and have a look and see what it is that we did and how you can make the product yourself. You're going to get, this is the grey option that we've got on the screen at the moment. You're getting 10.5 meters of fabric as well as the pattern for $79.99. The pattern on its own is worth $9.99. So you're getting 10 meters of fabric for 10.5 meters of fabric for £70. That's less than £7 a meter. So you can do the math on that, whether you just want to buy this stash of gorgeousness. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. So you're getting how many meters? 2.5 meters of this gorgeous dark grey, which will be enough to be able to create your borders and your backings and all of that. And then you've got all these different measurements on the rest of the colorways there. So you've got a dark green, dark pink, light pink, dark orange, dark blue, light blue. And I think that you're getting a meter of everything else except for this one of the blues, so you can create your second border on the outside there. So as far as I know, that's it. But it is 10.5 meters of fabric on all of those. Again, we've also only got less than 5 of these available. We're not sure if they're coming back again. So please, if you are interested, don't hang around. Demonstration again was on the 25th of March. And just to then show you the pattern, this quilt works out to be 51 inches square. And you can see all the different patterns. That's the intermediate wise. So you'll be able to see then you've got your block 2s and all the different colorways. It just breaks everything down and shows you what it is that you're doing. It shows you how you're making all of these into the circles. And again, the demonstrations on the 25th of March. Look back on that. This is the intermediate with the grey. We've also got the intermediate then with an ivory background. And you can see they look so different. I'm trying to make sure I waft these gently, that I don't knock everything off the table again. Come on, there we go. So this is then on ivory. Again, 10.5 meters of fabric for this bundle. You're getting a meter of all the colors, but then slightly more of the one blue in order to get the borders in place. And 2.5 meters of the ivory, as well as the intermediary instructions in order to do this. And then obviously the tutorial, which is on the 25th of March. So if you look on our YouTube channel, you'll be able to see that on the 25th of March. So I'm just going to swap that color out, plop this color in. So it's all exactly the same except for our backing. The colors that you're getting in the front here are not included. Just bear with us because we've got a limited staff. The fabrics I've got here that I'm running my hand along, these are the fabrics that are included in the bundle, as well as the instructions that you're going to get with it as well. So that is what you're buying for $79.99, not the fabrics at the bottom of the screen. So you'll be able to do those. Again, less than, how many have we got of these ones? About six or seven. Not a huge amount of these left. So if you are interested in the grey or the cream, don't hang around. There's not very many left. And I'm not sure we're going to be able to bring them back to you. So don't hang around. Now we've got the advanced one, and this is in the ivory. We've only got this in the ivory because the grey, we sold out. I'm so excited. Sold out. And the great thing is that I keep selling out on the patterns of these as well, which is great. So what I'm doing here, this one is 61 inches. And you can see it's got this fabulous flying geese border on. And you can see it's a lot more work involved in this product than in the intermediary, because you've got this amazing flying geese border all the way around. So this one, you're getting even more fabric. So you get enough fabric to make that whole piece, as well as, 2 seconds, you get, where's this bundle here? Ugh. I'm going to rotate my Bargello fabric there so I don't get confused. So this is the fabric you're getting here. This is 13 meters of fabric, and now I'm not getting them in the right place. There you go. So you're getting 13 meters of fabric here. Light pink, light orange, light green, light blue, dark blue. And I think there's about 4.5 meters of this ivory fabric as well. Just incredible. And then you've got this fabulous pattern that goes with it as well. This is the advanced instructions. So the pattern alone is £9.99. So you're paying £90 for 13 meters of fabric. Even if you have no interest in doing the quilts, 13 meters of fabric for £90, because you're paying £9.99 for the pattern. That is just an incredible deal. Really, really good. Again, we don't have many of these left. We're not sure that we're going to be able to bring those back again. The show, in order to know how to do this, is on the 25th of March, so you can check that on the YouTube channel as well. Isn't it great that we've got that you can always refer back to it? And the good thing is when you get onto the project and you start doing it, and there's a lady who's already doing it on the Sewing Street fans page as well, and she keeps posting pictures, and she's emailed me once or twice to ask me the odd question, and so more than happy to answer that as well. So you'll always be able to have the support to make sure that you do it. It's a great, great project. But if you don't want to buy all of the kits, you just want the patterns. Now I'm going to say I have sold out 4 times on this already, and these are very limited on the page at the moment. You are actually able to buy all 3 of these patterns for £19.99. Absolutely incredible deal, that one. So those 3 patterns are going to be what we called our beginners FPP, which is the cushion. That's our first pattern there, which you've seen the samples with before. Then we've got our intermediate instructions as well. That comes with all your blocks, everything that you can print out to get that all done. Comes to you in the post in a paper version, and then you can just photocopy them as you need them. So that's the intermediary section. And then you've got the advanced section as well, because people are always looking for different exciting ideas on how to do FPP, and it's been so popular. We've sold out so many times on it. So don't hang around on this either. They're £19.99 for all 3 of these designs as patterns on their own without the kits. So if you are interested in those, we really don't have very many of these left, so please hang around. I know 2 or 3 people messaged me last night to say, oh, I'm so excited, they're back in stock, thank you. So I'm really pleased that they're so popular. Don't hang around, there aren't many left. And then, of course, my Bargellos. Oh, everybody who knows me knows I absolutely adore my Bargellos. So I'm going to try and do this without knocking anything over. I won't get it right, but you know that. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Ooh, where'd these threads come from? So the bundle that we've got on the screen at the moment, you're going to be able to make 2 of these quilts. You will be able to make both of the quilts that I'm showing you now. It's just an enormous amount of fabric. 15 meters. So I'm going to show you the quilts first so that you can see what it is you're going to make. Oh, I'm trying to get it all in shot for you and not throw my pattern on the floor. 2 seconds. So this is the Angie quilt. Oh, crying out loud, sorry. There we go. It's huge! So you can see this is the first design, the Angie design. And you can see just by moving the fabric up and down, 1 block at a time, you can see how well the fabric moves along the way. It's just so gorgeous, so effortless. So that was the first design, that was Angie. And Angie is actually a person. She is one of my dearest friends, and she helps me so much in my studio. And she's very good at making sure I stick to deadlines. She normally has a wooden spoon in her hand as well, because she's old school. But she's fabulous. I adore Angie. And then this one is one of the first ladies I met in the crafting world. Her name was Bea Taylor, and she's just so lovely as well. So I had to name a quilt after her. Sorry, I keep hitting my mic with all this enormous quilt. So there is Bea's quilt, Bea Taylor's quilt. Look at that. Not used to all this exertion so early, but the colours on it I just love. So the colours in the quilt that I've just shown you are slightly different to the colours that we've done on our bundle, because I wanted it to be exclusive to Sewing Street. I wanted there to be where I thought we could improve on this quilt. I wanted to make sure I brought a bit more of a pop of colour to you to be able to do it. So let's start with the instructions. This is a big bundle, so bear with me while I do this nice and slowly. You're getting 2 quilt instructions. Effectively, one of them is for free, but you're getting both. You're getting the Angie one here, if I can learn left from right. This is the Angie one, this is the Bea one. And each of these are very clearly explained how you do it and where you're going through that whole process. Again, we've got the YouTube videos on this. I can't remember them off the top of my head. I think one was it the 7th of March? One was so the Angie one was the 7th of March, and then what we did is, again, we brought them both on the 3rd of April. So you've got 2 tutorials on this as well. The 7th of March one will be able to show you exactly how you start the whole process off, and then the 3rd of April will be exactly the difference between the Angie and the Bea quilts and how they start ever so slightly differently. Now let's look at the fabric. So the first thing you've got in this bundle, you've got a 1.5 meters of the navy. Now, the reason you want the 1.5 meters of the navy is because, oh gosh, here we go. I do this every time. This poor little thread bundle gets blown away by me all the time. This border, I wanted to make sure that everybody had enough to be able to do the border on this. Oh, pardon me. Sorry. Oh, sorry about that. Talking for so long, you end up inhaling your own tongue. So what I've done here is we've given you 1.5 meters of the navy, because you'll need a 0.5 meter in the navy in the quilt. But I've given you another meter as well to be able to make the border. So you'll see that when you get your bundle, you're getting 1.5 meters of this. If you did want to make both of these, there's a bundle at the end you might just want to hang around for. So I'll talk to you about that at the end. So these are the solid colours you're going to get in this Bargello range, and these are the spotties. So I'm going to bring these over here just to show you. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. There should be 27. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. There are 27, I just can't count. Sorry about that. So there we go. There are 27 different colours. These all work out, as you'll see on the 7th of March and the 3rd of April. You will see how we put these all together. But that is a colossal amount of fabric. 27 of these, 0.5 meter of each, and then we've got 1.5 meters, an extra meter of the navy, which gives us our 15 meters of fabric. So the colours on the overhead aren't going to be exactly right, but you can just see how they go so well. They're very close, but they're not exactly what they are. I'm going to bring that down a bit so you can see. I'm going to just move these over here. There we go. So you're going to get 0.5 meter of each of these 26 fabrics there, and then you're getting 1.5 meters of this gorgeous navy in order to put the border and make this. Now, you're only going to need a long quarter of each of these in order to make one of these quilts. So when you get these, you're going to cut them into 3-inch strips, and you'll get 6 strips out of each 0.5 meter. And once you've done that, you'll see you only need 3 strips for that one and 3 strips for that one, because there's so much fabric, you don't need that much of it, and you will still have some left over. So the great thing is it's a really, really good deal of a fantastic amount of fabric to make 2 fabulous products. And if you don't want to make the products, it's still a fantastic price for such a huge amount of fabric. Really great stash building fabrics, these. Spots and plains, I wanted to make sure that when I did this project, I had something really simple that you find in your stash all the time. And if you haven't, you can now. And just to make something so perfect to be able to go and pop and work so effortlessly together. Really fantastic amount of fabric, really great price. And I really hope that you are able to enjoy it. And share your pictures on our fans page and on the Sewing Street TV. We love seeing them. It gives me such a thrill being able to see all that. So that is our Bargello collection. Next, gosh, I feel like we've got loads on today. What are we doing next? The Amelie? Perfect. So I'm going to pop these in the front here, hopefully not throw them off the front of the stage. Right. Now this, I was so happy I was able to do these samples because they are just gorgeous. I'll start with ebb and flow. Perfect. So many of you have heard of Janet Clare, and Janet Clare creates the most fabulous fabrics. This is Janet Clare's, I can just show you the finished product first. So this is the quilt that you're going to get. You will need to purchase some cream with it, and I have done this demo on YouTube. That was on the 29th of March. You'll be able to see how the demo for this in detail, but this is the quilt that you're going to get from that layer cake and the pattern. And then what I did with this one is, you see, I didn't use white, I wanted to use the light grey. So if you wanted to check out the different colours that we've got, check the website out and you'll be able to find it. So this is the Janet Clare Ebb and Flow layer cake, and you're able to see then the different colourways of these fabulous layer cakes. So what you're going to get to make that is you've got the fabulous layer cake, and we'll go through those as well. Oh, there we go. Slide that out of the way. So much fabric everywhere, it's wonderful. So not only are you going to get that, but you're also going to get this fabulous pattern to help you make this product. And if I can stop, there we go. It's a really fabulous product, this. And then looking at the colours, so the colours may be slightly different on your overhead. Well, I suppose actually we can do it on the quilt. It makes more sense that I can show you on the quilt. Because why should we flick through and you can see the whole thing? And what I loved about this project was, it didn't matter how you placed anything. It didn't matter whether you placed that colour next to that colour or that colour next to that colour, because they all just flowed so perfectly together, because they're in a layer cake, and the layer cakes are meant to be going together, and you can just see how beautifully these go together. But the layer cakes are so good. Again, these are from Moda, Janet Clare designs for Moda. Just a really lovely product, that one. So this is the layer cake and the pattern. That was on the 29th of March, if you want to watch the demo on how that's done. And that is £54.99 for that wonderful bundle. And just remember, I used a light grey on my sample, which was available at the time. So just check our website out to be able to see whether that's it. Now, what I have got here is I have got the bundle that's called the Front Porch. There we go. So what you're getting for this is, now I can actually show you this because I haven't finished the sample on this one yet. So you're getting this fabulous layer cake. Bring that forward so you can see it. And the pattern again, £54.99. This quilt works out at 48 inches by 56. And I'll show you, you can watch the demo on the 29th of March anyway, but what I've done here is I haven't quite finished the bottom row on this quilt. So this is just a 5 by 5, I think it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 6x6, sorry. But just look how beautiful these colorways go. We do not have a lot of stock of these available in either this one or the other one, the Ebb and Flow by Janet Clare. So if this is something you're interested in, please don't hang around because it's just such a gorgeous, gorgeous product. We're going to pop this on the overhead as well so you can see it. Forgive my creasing on it because it's been tucked in a bag and I didn't... who knew petrol stations were not open all night during current difficult times? And I couldn't actually get to the studio without fuel. So I couldn't press everything before we went on air. So please forgive my pressing on that. And what I'll do is I'll just show a little recap of the blocks that you're making. So that's our block that we're making there. We're going to pretend it's nice and flat. And we're going to pop that there. Oh, there we go, Kat. Just go further away and you can't see the creases. I think that's the way we should do this, don't you? So again, what I'm doing is I did do this full demo on the 29th of March. So you'll be able to go back and watch that. But all I'm doing here is I'm just lining this up as I did in that demo. And what I do is I press my seams open, so you can see I'm just lining that up, so hopefully my seam matches. But the great thing about this quilt is it actually is very forgiving if your seams don't match, so you don't have to worry about it too much, because I know everybody gets really nervous about it. So it is definitely a quilt for a beginner, so if you are wanting to do something that isn't going to look wrong if you don't feel confident that you're going to match your seams, because there aren't really that many seams to match, which is great. But I always think that it's a case, finished is better than perfect, and it's your quilt. You're meant to love it. Don't ever worry about it. You're still going to love it, and no one's ever given a quilt back because a seam didn't match. So if you're making it for somebody, they won't give it back to you if you haven't got it spot on. No one's going to mind. And if they do, you enjoy the quilt that you made with so much love. There we go. And then again, you would just press that open. You'd press that open. I could use my trusty little roller here as I push all the threads further onto the floor over there. Kat's going to beat me to death later because I keep messing up her set. That's all right, she's saying you're fine as long as you tidy it back up. So all I'm doing is I'm using one of these little finger presses here just to finger press this open and to just get it going there. So then you'll just get that's what you're doing, and then you trim the block down. But again, I've done a full demo on the 29th of March, so check that out. And then you'd sew those together as is needed for the end of the quilt. But it's just a really lovely, lovely quilt, really fun and exciting and friendly, and it just makes you very happy. Not very much of these stocks available left. You get the lovely layer cake and this fabulous pattern. Let me get that. So when you do these, you are going to need some additional coordinating fabrics. You'll see in this sample, I used the ivory. And what I mean by that is you can tell, can we go on the overhead? Oh, there we go, on the two there. So you can see I've used some white and ivory fabrics here. Those are the fabrics that you will need an additional there. So I've used the, yes, I used the white. So you can get an additional piece of white for $6.98 a metre, and you will need a metre of this for when you make this quilt. You will have left over. I'm not sure if it was exactly a metre that you needed, but you will have left over on that. And then you've also got the ivory here as well. So we've got the white, which I've shown you previously, and then this is the ivory, $6.98 a metre for each. I'll hold these two together so you can see the difference. This is the ivory here, and this is the white that's to the foreground now, just so you can see the difference in fabric, it's a difference in colours. It's not very different, and just really lovely price for great product there. Gosh, I feel like we've got so much going on the show today. So we're going to just quickly recap, because I don't know if everybody saw my Dresden Plate ruler demo earlier. I can show you some of my samples that I made earlier. This was fabric that I used from home. Unfortunately, I accidentally cut the liberty the wrong way around, but you can see just how huge this Dresden ruler makes this. And then you can equally do, and now I've put my teeny weenies somewhere else, but what I'll do is I made really big ones, but then I also made these. These are 5-inch blades, so you can see that these are the really nice, cute little 5-inch blades, which again make something between 11 and 12 inches, depending how you've sewn them. You can do halves. You can do the pointy ones there. So I showed you the curves here on this one. You can see it's got that nice, cute little curve. And then you've got the nice pointy traditional Dresdens that most people use there. And what's great with these is if you wanted to, say, make a basket, that's a lovely little basket for the base of your basket. And then you just embroider a handle above it. So you can see that's a cute little basket. And where my fingers are now, in an arc above it, you can create a little basket handle as well. And if you just fancy doing this without any form of curve or anything, these are the plain blades there. These are launched today. So it's the first time on Sewing Street today. Really love them, and you can tell by the amount that I cut out. That was just oh look, it's working, oh it's working, oh I get very carried away. The last one I felt like that was the hexagon ruler, which I absolutely adore. And you can make quarters of these, and then if you wanted to make round ones and the bigger blades, you can see how they work as well. Just really fantastic ruler. So it's just Creative Grids rulers are fantastic in the way they do it, and I'll show you the ruler now. But you can even go down to doing, I think you can go, the lowest you can do here is a 1 inch or a 1 1/4. But look how tiny they are. You can do tiny, tiny little ones. So I am going to do this one, so watch out for our social media later. I just haven't had time to finish that one off because I had leftovers. So this is the ruler that you're going to get, which has got the lovely blade here, which you'll use to make your Dresdens. You're going to get this little, so that's your, let me get the, there we go. So there's the blade. You've got this lovely circle, which you've seen in the demo before this. So if you want to watch the demo for this, that is the 22nd of April, and that'll be at the 8 o'clock show. But on top of those 2 blades, you're going to get this fabulous instruction set. Don't throw this away. Lots of different quilt ideas on that as well. And just make sure you hang on to all these together. Really great product, that. But now we've got the fabulous oval all round. I think I can now, without knocking anything over, I kind of think I've destroyed the set already. What I did with this is I loved this oval ruler, absolutely loved it. And I decided I was going to make a quilt. Now, in the current situation, unfortunately, I have not got my lovely binding guru, Sylvia, so we're going to pretend this quilt is bound. Okay, you're going to work with me and tell me that the quilt is bound. It's not. But this is the quilt that I made. The ruler is absolutely revolutionary in my mind. You can see all the different shapes that I've been able to get out of this ruler, making this quilt. And it was just so different and something that I'd never considered doing before. It was just so clever in the way that it just kind of slotted in so effortlessly. So this is what I made, this giant quilt. I'm going to pop it down now. Hopefully it's going to go without dragging the material down. There we go. So there we go. That is the quilt that Go, silly Right. So you can see it's a really lovely, lovely, lovely design, that. And this is the cool bundle, which will be coming up later. But I wanted to just show you first how the actual ruler worked. So again, when you buy the ruler, you're going to get this fabulous ruler, but equally, so that's the ruler you're going to get, and it's called the Oval Always. And then you're going to get this fabulous set of instructions as well, showing you how to use the ruler, different quilt ideas on how to do it, different sizes, how big you need to cut everything for different things that you want to do. So don't ever lose these, they're fabulous. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how easy it is to cut these out. We've got this lovely black swan fabric that we've had previously. I'm going to use the actual swan. Should I use the swans or should I use the black feather? I'm going to use the black feather because there's not a huge amount of it left. So what you're doing here is you're finding the right rotary cutter amongst all of your fabric that you've now hidden everywhere. Right. I do find the smaller the rotary cutter, the easier it is. This one, I'm going to just double check that I've smoothed my edge up. That looks pretty good. So you've smoothed, I've got a nice clean edge over here, and I've got my fold line over here, okay? So you've got one of two options. You can either do a half oval or a full oval. So I'm going to do a half oval, and the reason being is I'm going to put another half oval underneath it, but I'm going to cut that separately because I do think putting 3 or 4 layers on this makes it a little bit harder. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to line your, and this demo was on, just double checking the dates because so this was on the 23rd of March that I did this demo. So you'll be able to then go back and check. So you've got options of being able to do this either as a half oval or a full oval or as a single oval. So I'm going to do these as half ovals, and I'm going to cut them at 5 inches. So what I'm doing is I'm lining my A line up here, and I'm lining my A line up here. And then I'm taking my 5-inch line over here and putting my nice thin rotary blade in, and just take it nice and slow, and you follow the groove all the way around. Now I find when you get to this point at the top, just take it slowly. It goes through, just take it nice and slow. So all I've done is I've cut a 5-inch half oval. Okay? That's a 5-inch half oval. But what I'm going to do now is, because I've cut a 5-inch half oval, I'm going to line this back up. I shouldn't have moved the fabric then, sorry about that. So I'm going to line that up there and line that up there. So there's, you can see that's my 5-inch line that I've just cut, which is there, okay? But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this 1.5 inches. So I'm going to cut this at 6.5, and I'm going to go all the way around. And again, as you get to the top here, slow down, just go nice and slowly, because I find if you go really quickly, your blade can nick the top there. So just take it nice and slowly. So now we've got, oh, and if you have missed a few pieces here, which does happen, there we go, and a little bit here. That's why you take it nice and slowly. And of course, when you're doing it, you're not doing it live on telly either. There we go. Right, so you've now got options, and now you're not getting the cream fabric with this. I'm just simply doing this to show you how effective this ruler is. So that's your background. This is the oval that we cut at the beginning. Okay, but now this is the half oval that we cut after. Now, doesn't that look like a man with a beard? Or wait for it. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Doesn't that look like a basket? And then when you've got the basket, you know, if you're looking at for Easter things, you could put little eggs in here along the way, which you can do very effortlessly from that. But you can see how simple that is. But what I did when I did my cool cutting. And I've got loads of these because, again, a fun ruler, I'm always going to use loads of them. You also have the ability to cut quarter ovals. And then once you've cut your quarter oval, you can cut another quarter oval. And then you can get very excitable, and you can cut a quarter oval with 2 different types, two different colorways in it. And again, these won't be squished in the bottom of your bag, being all smushed out the way. But then if you wanted to add a little bit more interest in it, you can add another bit there, which I think I've got those the wrong way around, actually. Take those out. But you can see that it's just a really simple ruler that all you're going to do is just use your imagination on how to use them. The instructions are very, very easy to be able to show you how to do all of this. And it's just a really, really lovely ruler. So please... So then, the great thing about this, so they give me the ruler and they say, oh, go play with that and tell me what you think. And then I make a quilt, obviously. So I made this fabulous quilt called, what did we call it? Around the Ovals quilt. So now this is still a bundle, but we've only got the cool colorway left. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I tidy as I go. So I can put that down here. So we've got the quilt that I've shown you previously, which is this one. I showed you that a few minutes ago. That is now a quilt bundle. Oh. So in order to make this quilt, you do need to make sure that you do have the ruler. So this is the All Ovals Always ruler. So you will need to have the ruler on it. But this one, you're going to be able to then get the pattern. So that's going to be the pattern, and it tells you exactly how to make it and different options on what you're doing. And you're also going to get 7 meters of fabric, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 colorways, there are 6 different colors there, which I think is a ½ meter, is it? Yes, it's a ½ meter of each of these, the colors, and then you're getting 4 meters of this ivory as well. So it's a huge amount of fabric there, and that is your lovely bundle on that there. So you're getting the instructions, the 4 meters of the ivory, and then a ½ meter of all 6 of those colors, giving you 7 meters of fabric. What I did with my quilt was I took this, and I think I made it. I think I cut it in half. I can't remember the exact sizing of it. It's in the instructions on there, but you do have a lot left over as well. I think I had enough to bind it out of the fabric as well, but not for the backing. So that was that. And then these are the colors that you're going to get with them. You've got this beautiful light green, and you get this lovely dark green as well. And then you get this gorgeous dark purple. I'm not sure if I'm going the right way. I'm running out of camera screen there. Got the light purple, dark purple there. And then we've got the light purple here. I think I did this the wrong way around. And then we've got the dark blue here. You can just see how well they go. I like opening up more so you get more you can get more idea of how well they go together. And then we go. So all of this was demoed on the 23rd of March. So make sure you check that out. And you've got the instructions included in the bundle. You will need the ruler as well. So the Ovals Always ruler is what you'll need for that. And the 23rd of March is the day the demo was done. Gosh, we've got so much here. It's wonderful. So we're going to recap my Bargellos because it's such a huge bundle. I want to make sure that we've definitely got these covered. So in the bundle, you're going to get 26 ½ meters of fabric. 26 ½ meters of fabric here. So these are the spots. So it's not just these that you're getting. You're also getting ½ meter of all of those, and then the navy. Kat, is it not 2 meters the navy you're getting? It's 2 meters of the navy. Sorry, I was incorrect when I said that earlier. You're getting 2 meters, so you're getting ½ meter of these, ½ meter of the spots. Let's see if I can cleverly hold those two. That works very well. And then you're getting 2 meters of the navy. I thought something wasn't adding up there because you'll need a ½ meter for your navy line to go all the way through the quilt. This is your ½ meter of the navy here, but then you'll need 1.5 meters for all the borders around the side. But now if you want to do both, you've got enough fabric in the middle to make both quilts, but you don't have enough of the navy to make both quilts. So what we're doing as well is we're doing 1.5 meters piece of the navy to be able to put the border on your second Bargello, and that's for £10.47. So that would be, if you wanted to make all of the both of these quilts with the border, you'd need to buy this one as well as the bundle that was on before. And watch the shows from the 7th of March and the 3rd of April. The 7th of March is focused mainly on the Angie one, and the 3rd of April will be both of them together. So you'll be able to do all those together. But it's just a really lovely, bright colorway, which is so, I think it's just very inspiring. Well, I know I was very inspired by it. And you can see that's everything that you're getting there. You're getting the instructions for the B Bargello and the Angie Bargello, Angie and the B. as well as all those fabulous fabrics as well, for £129.18. And if you did want to buy an extra 1.5 metre piece of the navy to do the bundle, then that's £10.47. But to be honest, for £10.47 for 1.5 metres of navy, I'd be buying several of these as well. And do these come as one piece if you ordered 2 of them? I think they're pre-cut. So if you did buy 2 pieces, the 3 meters, because everybody likes a good navy, and it is a really good navy, this one, you will get it then as individual pieces. So that's our Bargello. Now before, you may have seen now bear with me, because this is actually going to be very funny, because I have image of the entire Bargello collection ending up on the floor there. Nope, I made it. Woohoo! So during my previous demo, when I was doing these fabulous Dresden plates, you noticed that I was using this Best Press product. And the Best Press, I'm just going to find, there it is there. So this one has had Best Press used on it, and this one hasn't. So I'm just going to give you a difference between the two, so you can see. Nope, that's not the one. I did use Best Press on that one. Where are you? There we go. So this one I haven't used Best Press on, and you can see that this one's got a bit of a wobble on it, and it's a bit there, but this one is so flat and so stable, and oh, it smells delicious. It smells absolutely amazing. This Best Press has got a lavender vanilla flavour to it, and it is really beautiful, really, really nice. But the great thing is that it just keeps your fabric together, it lays it nice and flat, and it works so, so well. Especially on this. Yours obviously will come full. And I always wondered, what was this? There was a little piece of plastic on it, a little bit of sellotape on it. What happens is that this nozzle comes attached to the side. So that's when it's just attached to the side. But a really great product. Anybody who's used Best Press before knows, really, really lovely product. Great smell. Excellent starching abilities. Really, really great product that. So we got our Best Press, and that's $11.99. And this is the, it's just under half a litre. It's 499 millilitres. I'm not sure who drank our 1 milliliter, but there we go. Just under half a litre of Best Press there for $11.99. And then again, what I was using previously, you would have seen me using our fabulous Prim iron. This comes with a lovely little bag, as well as a little water bottle to top it up with as well. And a really great little feature to have with you, to take with you anywhere you're going. And yeah, lovely little product. Those are $39.99. And did I hear correctly that if we've sold these, we're not getting them again? We're not sure we can. So if you are looking for one, don't hang around, because unfortunately with where we are at the moment, getting things in is quite difficult. So there may be a little bit of a delay when we get the product back in, if we are able to get it back in. So if you are interested, don't hang around. So are we doing our design rolls? So if anybody joined us the other day on the 18th of April, we ran, it was the 18th, wasn't it? It was the 18th, just double checking. So we're going to start with, we didn't have the rainbow bundle in this. Right, sorry, bit of confusion there, apologies. So the finished product there, let me show you the finished product first so you know what you're getting. The great thing with this design roll race is you don't know what you're going to get when you start cutting these out. So this was the first one that I made. It's huge, 64 inches by 78, I think it worked out to. And you can see what we've done. You'll be able to see on the sew along how we did all of this. I can't get it out all enough, it's so huge. So this is what you're going to be able to make out of it. This is one of the versions. And I'll just keep dragging this up until I get to the end of the quilt. And this was made from our Geometrics bundle. 3 different colorways, the sunset, the berry, and the azure. So that was the first one that we did. And then the one I did live on air was this one. And this worked out really, really well as well. So all I did with this one is I cut it slightly differently, whereas on the previous one I cut the strips the full length of the fabric and left them the full length. These I cut in half and left some of them as the full length to give it a bit more of a variety. And you can just see I've got threads everywhere, sorry about that. But this just works so beautifully as well. And you can just tell, I'll give you the top bit there, you can see how it goes. So we had the blues a bit more in the middle this time round, and the pink. So these are what you'll be able to make, and it doesn't take that long to do this. I think we're looking at about 4 hours, start to end. That includes the cutting and getting everything ready for the quilt. You're going to need these 3 panels for that. I'll show you the length of the panel this way. Oh. So these are our design roll strips. You're going to get 16 different colours, but let me just show you the width of them. They're 55 inches wide, and you can just see that gorgeous detailing on the product there. So I can then just show you the different colourways as how it gradiates, going from a really bright yellow to a dark umber colour there. So that's the first colourway. And then the azure is the blue. I'm just going to show you the colourway because you saw the size of these earlier. You can just see that colourway there is so beautiful there. And then we've got the berry one as well, which goes from a really deep, beautiful purple through to a lovely light pink there. So these are the colourways that we use for that design roll. And this works out, in buying all 3 of these together today, it will be £49.97 for that bundle. And I'm not going to fold that because we're running a little bit over, and I'm very excited about that. And then we've now got we've got 2 bundles for you for our design roll race, because when we were doing this, we looked through our collection of design rolls, and I wanted to make sure that we also had, because some people might not like those colourways. So I went to everybody and said, oh, look, we've got so many fabulous colours. Let's do a second bundle. So we had this gorgeous, is this Paisley Marmalade? This is the Paisley Marmalade. And then we've got our Copen Summer colourway, which is also lovely. So you can see that one there is gorgeous. And then that goes, I'm going to put these on so we can try and do the colourways together so you can see how they pop. Because I haven't made a sample of this yet. Come on, where are you? There we go. And then there's these different colourways there. Each of these are 55 inches long, 2.5 inches wide. And then you can see just how beautifully these 3 colourways go together. The colours on the overhead are slightly different to what you'll see in the camera ahead of you now, but you can just see how elegantly that and beautifully that goes together. Just look at that. And you can see that as a design roll race, having seen the other colourways, how well they work. They're going to work so beautifully together as well. Those 3 together are £49.97, and you're going to be saving £10 by buying the 3 together. Really, really lovely. Now, to then round off this hour, I'm very excited because we've got this gorgeous, what do we call it, squiggly green. Now, it's 108 inches wide, and I don't know if I don't have a pin that I can attach it to, but this is 108 inches. So you can see this is only half of it there. Look how huge it is. And it's just such a bright, bright colourway. And I'm actually just looking at this on this Bargello, and it actually looks quite good. This one as well. That actually works quite well. So if you are looking for some lovely backings, this is, sorry? So we had loads of these on yesterday and they sold really, really quickly. So if you are looking for some really good 108 wide backings, don't hang around because we don't want you to miss out. What a fabulous hour. I'm loving this. Are we doing the early bird? Going to do the early bird in the next hour. I am so excited that I was able to bring you all of these fabulous quilts and things that I've had on. They are very low stock on them, so please, if you are interested in any of the kits that we've got, don't hang around, because if they've sold out, we're not sure we can get them in again. Certainly not quickly. After the break, we've got the fabulous Cara Ackerman doing our lovely demonstration from home, which she's videoing in to us today. Quilt as you go. Never done that, so I'm really looking forward to that. So if you don't mind bearing with us for a few minutes while we change our set, as you can tell, there's a lot to move around. We'll be with you in a few minutes, and we look forward to spending some more time with you later on. Thank you so much for your time for this hour, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
Hello and welcome. We love hearing from you and we really hope that you can follow us on our social media platforms. We've got Instagram, which is @Sewing Street. We have Facebook. We've got 2 Facebook pages. One is the Sewing Street TV page and the other one is Sewing Street Fans. All 3 of these are monitored all the time by our wonderful team, and if you want to message us on air, drop us a line on either of those 3 and we'll definitely be able to answer your questions that you may have. If you post on the actual wall, we can perhaps answer there. Otherwise, message us as well. That works really, really well. Thank you so much for being involved, and it's only because of this community that we're able to bring you all these different diverse products and to be able to answer your questions that you may have. Another way you can stay in touch with us is by signing up to our newsletter. These newsletters are sent out to you very regularly and they include not only our guest profiles of upcoming guests, but also amazing shows that we've got coming up for you. And if you want to look at the amazing products before everybody else, that's the best way to do it. If you'd like to sign up and you haven't already, the link to follow is www.sewingstreet.com/sign up. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
Hi, I'm John Cole Morgan and I'm here to give you my top tips on how I go about enjoying my sewing experience. My first top tip, as everybody knows, rotary cutter safety. If you're not using it and it's not on the mat, that blade must be locked. Please be safe. My second top tip is always buy more fabric than you need. If you don't have it, it's always going to sell out. You're going to struggle to find it, and when you do, it's going to cost you a lot more than when you were going to buy it originally. So buy it all. You always regret the bit you didn't buy. My next tip is positive or negative, Always listen to the advice and opinions of other people. Even if you ignore them, everybody has a different perspective, everybody has a different take on things, and it might help you along the way. The next top tip I have is always buy the most expensive and the most useful and the most practical for your brain product that works for you. Some people prefer different things. Buy what works for you. And my last tip is, this is fun, this is enjoyable, and make sure you are enjoying it. Because there's nothing worse than carrying on with something and hating it and not enjoying it. You need to make sure that you're having fun. Those are my top tips and how it is that I enjoy my sewing experience. I hope they help you, because they have helped me. For more handy tips and demonstrations, make sure you watch us on our Freeview channel 74, Sky channel of 670. Otherwise, follow us on YouTube on Sewing Street, where you can catch up on past demonstrations and shows. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Good morning. Welcome to Sewing Street. I'm John Cole Morgan, and I'm so excited to have you back for this hour. We have got the fabulous Cara Ackerman, who is going to be able to show us Quilt as you go. I've never seen Quilt as you go, so I'm really looking forward to this. What we've got to do is to show you first what the finished product is going to look like. Look at this fabulous bag, all done on the Quilt as you go method. Gorgeous handles, loads and loads of bits left over, and this is what you're going to get in your bundle. So we've got, first of all, I'm going to start with the June Taylor Sophie tote bag, Quilt as you go, I'm not quite sure what you'd call these. Are these the prepaid kits? So you've got everything ready to go, and you've got these lovely handles on there as well. So these are all ready to go, and Cara's about to show us exactly how to use this, because I've never used them either. They're fab. And then we've got this lovely light yellow, which is a ½ metre of that for the lining. And then we've got our fat quarter bundle of the paisley marmalade. But the great thing with our fat quarters is they're 55 inch, our fabric is 55 inches wide, which means our fat quarters are 27.5 inches by 19.5 inches. There's a huge amount of fabric here. Come on, there we go. So you can see this is our wonderful colourway in this collection of the paisley marmalade. So you're going to be getting 4 fat quarters here, as well as the paisley marmalade design roll strip, which is just another fabulous collection of fabrics here. And again, you can see it's huge. 55 inches long on that as well. And I'll bring these closer so you can get a closer look at the designs. So these are 2.5 inch strips. And you would then cut these out as you want to, as you go. And you can see these, I'll just lower this down so you can see the top fabric there. And the next one. I think it's always nice to be able to see this. I might be able to ask Kat as well to be able to show us on the overhead, because I think it's nice to get the detailing on them. So I'll show you that after we've done our video from Cara. So these are the fabulous fabrics you're getting. You're getting this design strip, you're getting the 4 fat quarters, you're getting the ½ metre of fabric there for your lining, and you're getting the bag pack for $39.99. What an amazing deal. So we're now going to pass along to Cara, who's done our little video on how this all works, and I'm really looking forward to this. See you in a few minutes. Oh, sorry, I think I'm a little bit ahead of myself then. Sorry. There we go.
Hello everyone, it's Cara again. So I'm still at home, and I'm really sorry that I can't join you at Sewing Street and join the team. I hope everybody's staying safe and well and enjoying their stitching. I certainly have been. And I'm absolutely delighted to bring the Sophie tote bag to you today. And this is a Quilt as you go by June Taylor. Never done it before, and I thought, oh gosh, I'm not really a quilter, you know I'm not a quilter, so it was really good to try something that was completely different for me. The instructions are very good, everything that's included is lovely, and I absolutely love the special panels that Sewing Street have produced for this particular design. So without further ado, this is what hopefully you'll be able to make. Hope you can see it okay. So this is the Sophie tote bag. It's a quilt as you go, pattern printed on batting, and it's from the June Taylor range. Really is Very, very straightforward. I've never done one of these before, but I found it very easy to follow and so effective when it was actually completed. And it really is as easy as 1, 2, 3. So they're telling you to select and cut your fabrics. We'll go into that in more detail in a minute. Attach your backing fabric, and then you just sew by number. So it's really, really straightforward. You also have very clear instructions included in the pack. And this includes the cutting guide and tells you how many pieces you need to cut and their different sizes. And then this diagram is really, really useful because that reflects the actual printing that's on the batting. And then it goes through all the instructions, front and back, and takes you through the box bottom, the handles, the strap, and also attaching the strap and completing your design. I know the studio will show you the different fabrics. We've looked at the beautiful sort of yellowy golden colour as well, and this is a plum range. And one of the panels is 4 fat quarters, and this is the 4 fat quarters that you have here. You can either use that for your lining, but you would have to join 2 different ones together for your lining, or you can have the plain fabric as your lining, and then you have the stripped fabric, which I've cut down here into the 2.5-inch strips. And you can see there's loads of different patterns and everything that you can use. Also included, you've got the actual strap itself. So that is really good, and that strengthens your strap. And then you've got your batting. And if I can just sort of show you here, I won't be able to show you the whole thing, but again, they'll show you that at the studio. You'll see that there's numbers printed on the batting. And that number 1 there, and that will be your first pattern piece that you're going to place, followed by number 2, then number 3, number 4, number 5, etc. So when we actually get on to doing a demonstration, I'll be able to show you how you assemble the fabric onto the batting. Okay, so we've cut our fabrics, we've followed the cutting instructions on the sheet, where it tells you how many pieces and the size that you need to cut for each particular section. This now relates to the actual Quilt As You Go batting, as you can see here, that's all numbered. First thing you do is choose your backing fabric, and for this particular one I've decided to go for this beautiful ivory colour. So you'll cut that to the size of the batting, and you'll actually be cutting the batting about 1/2 inch to 1 inch away from the solid line, and then you can spray it with some fabric spray, or you can clip it. I just used some clips to hold it together, and then you'll machine just inside the solid line all the way round, and this attaches the backing, the actual lining fabric, to the batting. So once you've done that, it's now time to decide how you're going to do your stripes on the bag. So I've selected 8 different colours, and I've tried to alternate between the light colour and the dark colour. So now's the time to actually lay it out on your fabric and decide where you're going to put the different stripes. Obviously, the first one you do is number 1, which is slightly wider, and I'll explain the reasons why that is. So we pop that there, and I quite like the light colour for that particular stripe. And then you will just lay your fabrics out, and I've gone for sort of alternate light and dark. So you can see how that comes together. If you don't like the way that you've done it, then you can obviously change it. So that's quite a nice collection there. This fabric is so, so nice. So then we've got the dark shade, and then another light shade, and then another dark one. If you don't like that layout, you can play around with it, you can move things around. So, you know, this is the time. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, right, there's actually 3 quite similar fabrics there. So what I might do is take that one out and swap it with that one. That balances it a little bit more. So those are your stripes that you're going to be stitching first. Then we have the side panels. I quite like the dark fabric for the side panels. So that would go there. That one would go there. There's actually 4 of those because you've got the other side of the bag as well. And then the final one, so we've done all of that. Let's just lay that back, move that down. Is deciding for the horizontal stripes. So I've gone for quite a light colour on the horizontal stripes there, which I think is quite nice. And then you can choose from your fat quarters which fabric you fancy for the top of the bag. I think I'd go with one of the darker ones, so maybe something like that. But again, it's at this stage that you can actually play around with the colours and the layout and everything. Okay, so now we're ready. Now we've decided on the actual fabrics and everything. So this will be your first stripe, and then this will be your second stripe. Okay, you match them up to the solid line at the top there. You can see that solid line at the top there. And then you will actually right sides together. So this is your second panel. You'll turn that over, matching the solid line on the batting with the raw edge of those 2 pieces. And what we'll do is we'll actually stitch on the machine 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. And this is the process that you use. Once you've stitched that one, you'll fold that one back, finger press it rather than actually use the iron. If you use an iron at this stage, you're going to flatten the batting. Then the third panel, the third colour, again, we wanted a dark one. So we'll match that to the top, and that will go the other side of panel number 1. And again, you'll machine all the way down there and then fold it back. And you continue with that, following the numbers. So we've gone 1 in the centre, number 2, number 3, then you'll come over to number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, then the side ones as well, number 9 there. So you continue in that way, exactly the same as that. So it's really, really simple to follow. And as you'll see in the next sort of shot that we've done, although it's a yellow bag, you'll see exactly how the panels come together. So here we have the yellow bag. We've done all the stripes here. We've added the horizontal strip there and also the larger part at the top. And we've also got it all lined. We've done the side seams. We've done the box bottom. So it's all ready to get finished. So now the next part, which is the binding at the top. Now what you'll do is you'll actually cut the binding, just a straight binding, but I do like to do a diagonal join. And the reason for that is when you're folding this over, you can see with a diagonal join, when you're folding that over, you only have 2 parts there and 2 parts there. Whereas if you just did a straight seam, you'd actually have the 4 parts or 4 pieces of fabric all together. So it makes it quite bulky. So what I've done is from the spare fabric, and there's loads of spare fabric, I've cut some strips and then done the bias seam there. And you make a long, long strip of that. You'll fold it in half. And as I say, it's nice and it's not bulky or anything like that. The next thing is to actually clip it onto the raw edge of the bag, and you're doing it right sides together and the raw edges together. So we'll do that with some clips. These are wonderful, these Wonder clips, for just holding it in position. And it's so easy to do this. And also it means that if you don't like the way that the actual pattern, you'll see I've used lots of different patterns of the fabric there. If you don't like the way that that works, it's very, very easy to turn it over and redo it. So we'll just pop that over like that and come all the way around. And then I'm going to show you a really, really good way of joining the binding. So we'll do it all the way around like this. So to get a nice smooth binding, I've used a 2.5-inch strip of fabric. I'm just going to move that one over. Used a 2.5-inch strip of fabric, and what you want to do is you measure your half of the 2.5-inch strip, and obviously that's going to be 1.25. And you'll decide where you want the join to be. If you look at it now, I've actually got a diagonal join there to make sure that the join was not very close to a previous join. So what I decided was to move my join a little bit further over, and I decided that a good place to join would be about there. And what I've done is I've popped a pin in position there, and then I cut the excess fabric back. So I measured 1.25 inches there, 1.25 inches there, and that's where the two join. Okay, I haven't actually machined any of this yet. I'm going to take it all and machine it when I get upstairs and get to the sewing machine. So what you can do is, if you wanted to, you could machine, and you can machine all of that before you do the join. It's entirely up to you. There's not a lot of difference between the two. So now we want to do right sides together, and this is where it gets a bit fiddly, and I apologise now, I may get it wrong, but you want to actually join the two pieces of fabric together, and I'm going to pop a couple of pins in, just roughly, just to show where the actual join could be, and I'm going to show you, and if it doesn't work, then you'll learn from it, and I'll learn from it. So we could put the pins going from that diagonal across. I like to leave a little bit extra fabric, so I'm just going to pop a couple of pins in just to be sure that I've got that join in the right direction. So I've gone over the diagonal, so from one side to one side, and that will show you that your join will be like that, and that's your join when it's stitched. And as you can see, I did actually get it right. Your diagonal is going in the same direction as the other diagonals. So as I say, just pin that, and also once you've pinned it, just lay it on your fabric just to be sure that you've got the right amount of fabric and everything. So now I'm going to take this up and machine it, and then I'll machine all the way around, and we'll turn that over, and you can either hand or machine stitch that to the inside, but I will show you that later after I've shown you about the handles. Now we come to the actual straps. These are fun. We're following the instructions here, and they take you through very, very quickly and carefully exactly what you need to do. So your first thing is you cut your fabric to the length that they say, and you have two pieces of fabric. One is 2.5 inch wide, the other one is 2 inch wide. You also cut the batting, the quilt as you go batting, and cut the lengths. Those are actually printed onto the batting, so that's very easy to do. So I've got my 2.5 inch one there with the batting, and then I've also got the webbing that's included in the kit, and then my 2 inch strips there. What you'll do is you'll fold over at each end a 1/2 inch and just press that, or finger press it, both ends. So you have that. You'll notice that the strap, you can't see it properly here, but if I do it like that, you can see that the actual webbing is shorter, and also the batting is shorter than the actual fabric. Don't worry about that, because you actually are going to be machining the straps onto the outside of the bag. And what you don't want is a huge amount of thickness. So these are shorter, so don't worry and think that you've cut them wrong or that there's a printing error on the instructions. That is correct, because you want to be able to attach the straps without a lot of thickness. So you'll be doing on both of these. Now you can either use a glue pen or some quilting tape. I didn't have these here, so I wanted to show you that it was quite easy, and you'll be folding the fabric over. Now they say the fabric will meet, it's actually just overlaps slightly. So you fold that fabric over and press. So you will do that first on both of them. So you do that for the webbing and also on the batting. So do exactly the same. These ones actually meet in the centre, and you'll do that and press. And as I say, if you've got some quilting tape or some fabric glue, that's really good as well. So it will hold it in position when you're actually attaching both of them. So once you've done that, you press it and you end up with 2 strips like this. So one where the fabric is meeting in the centre and the other one where it slightly overlaps. And what you'll do then is you'll take the narrow one and raw sides together. So that's where the actual join is. You'll place that over the other strap and you can see that there's some of the fabric showing, which is really, really nice. And you'll pin that on top of each other and machine the 2 together. You'll machine down one side there and the other side there, and that will make a really nice firm strap. And then I'll take you on to actually attaching the strap to the bag. So we've now attached the binding to the top of the actual bag. You can see that we've machined it over, and in fact I've just machined the back of it. This can be hand stitched if you like, but I found that it was quite nice and neat and tidy. You'll see that I've done a top stitch here to just finish it off completely, and you can see that you can't really notice the seams very much, which is brilliant. So that's what I wanted to achieve. You have obviously all the quilting on the inside of the bag, and we're ready to attach the handles. So I have one of the handles here. So this is it completed. So we folded and then we laid the narrow one on top of the wider one, and then top stitched along the edge there. And remember there was a gap at the end, and there wasn't any of the actual batting or the cord on the inside. So that's really where we're going to be able to stitch to attach the handle. What you do is you'll mark either side 5 inches. So just I've done it with a Frisian pen, so when this is ironed that will disappear, but 5 inches from the outer seam inwards, and then you'll lay your handle on and match that to the edge of where that mark is. So that's 5 inches from the edge, and right sides together, so that's the right sides of your handle together. You'll machine it along there. So I'll just clip this one. Just try and make sure you don't twist your handle. That's very, very easy to happen. I'm sure a lot of people have done that before. So if you clip that there, you can check if your handle's in the right position. And as I say, you'll machine along there to attach it to that side, and then fold this over about an inch or so, and you can then, what I've done is actually machined down and across and up and then across again. So I've made a square, and I think that's really, really good because this is going to take all the weight of whatever you put in the bag, so it strengthens it. So as I say, I've top stitched down there, across there and across there. So if I just whip this over, you can see the handles that I've attached on this side, and you'll be able to see the stitching that I've done. So I've tried to match the stitching to the stitching that's already there, and this is nice and strong, and that completes your bag. It's wonderful. It's so big, so there's loads and loads of room for whatever you fancy putting in there. I think I'll put some of my sewing things. So thank you very much for staying with me and learning a little bit about Quilt as you go. Hopefully you've learned how to make this beautiful tote bag, learned how to do your box bottoms there, and I hope you've really enjoyed it. I hope to see you again soon. Stay safe, stay well, and until next time, bye-bye.
I want to wave back to Cara. That was so good. Cara, thank you so much for that. What a great way to put the handles on as well. Really, really enjoyed that. So we've got our fabulous bag here that was made in the demo. She may have mentioned a different fabric way, but this is the paisley marmalade that we're doing today. This is what's going to be included in your bundle. So you've got the June Taylor Sophie tote bag Quilt As You Go kit there. And we've also then got your 1/2 meter of lining fabric there. And we've got our 2 bundles here as well. This is the one with your fabric strips. So I can now show you the different fabric strips here. Such a lovely colorway, that. And then once you've got those are your design, the design rolls on that. And then we've got our fabulous fat quarter bundle here, which I was trying to flick the right way and didn't. And that's our fabulous fat quarter bundle range there. You've got the 4 of them together. And these are 27.5 inches by 19.5 fat quarters. So you get all that fabric and the kit. And what I love, what any project is, I always want to know, what do I have left over? And Cara thinks like I do, because this is what you get left over. Loads and loads of different strips. You've got all the fat quarter bundles. So there's one of the fat quarters there. There's the second fat quarter. There's the third. There's the fourth. And you've got the lining, what's left over from the lining, lots left there. All these different strips as well. A huge amount of fabric left over there. So you're going to get huge. I'm going to put this back in the bag. Lots and lots and lots of beautiful things. And look at the gorgeous bag when it's finished. Oh, helps if I hang on to the... But I love the way she's done the handles. Isn't that just so clever? That simple detailing. Just that simple detailing where you've got the one on the one side and then putting a double on there. It just makes the bag a little bit more sturdy. What a really lovely way of doing it. Lovely, lovely bag there. And what a great price to be able to do that. And it looked so simple. Really, really, really exciting product, that. So in there, we've got now, sorry, I'm just going to slide that over there. Now we've got the June Taylor basting spray, which is fabulous. Anybody who does any form of quilting or bag making, you've seen that this is good. But what I love, you've got that sort of spray can effect on it as well. If you're going to be using it, please make sure you've got the windows open, doors open. Don't be spraying it in an enclosed room. I'm in an enclosed studio, so I'm not going to spray it. Really lovely product. You'll be using this mainly to be able to put your wadding and your fabric together to be able to be a bit tacky, but it's not going to be sticky when it's finished. Really, really good, well, for the quilt as you go, as you saw. And this is £12.49 for 284 grams, 10 ounces. Really great product, this. And it does say on here, oh, it doesn't. Make sure you use them outdoors to not being able to use it in there. And it also says keep your nozzle clean to avoid adhesive buildup. So just once you've used it, make sure you wipe it out. Otherwise, just take a little pin and pop the pin in there just to get all the little bits and bobs out of there. Really great there. So now we've got our wonderful log cabin mug mats. Now I know we don't have a huge amount of these left, so these are really cute. You get to make these fabulous little mug rugs. I love a mug rug because your absolute favorite fabric you can put in one little tiny design that can be on your desk at all times, and then it just reminds you to have a cup of tea every now and then, or a cup of coffee, or a little gin and tonic if needs be, but only do it responsibly. So that's a beautiful, beautiful combination there. The log cabin mug mats. Really nice. Same method as what you're getting for the bag, but really and truly these are incredibly limited. So make sure you, if you are interested in those, don't hang around. And if you haven't checked out of your basket, just important to mention, say for example you popped one of these in your basket and you were thinking about it, if you haven't checked out, it's not yours yet. And if somebody calls up to the call centre or tries to buy it before you purchased it, unfortunately it can be taken out your basket. So do check out as you go. You're not going to be affected by the P&P. It's only one P&P all day. So make sure that you do check out as you find things that you fall in love with. Next one, we've got the 2.5 inch stripped mug mats. Also quilt as you go. And as they say, as easy as 1, 2, 3. And you're getting 3 different designs in this one as well. Again, that really simple method. Everything's drawn on and ready for you to go. What a lovely, lovely product. Also, not having too much of those left at the moment, so don't hang around. Now, in that video as well, we saw Cara using these fabulous wonder clips, and you know I love my wonder clips. So these are the Clover multicolored wonder clips. And just absolutely a fabulous, fabulous product. I use them for binding. You saw Cara using them now for bag making, and they're just a really lovely product. Come out with these wonderful colorways. I'm just going to try and get the different colorways. Yeah, we're going to pop them on the overhead if you don't mind, because I'm not quite sure my hand can go and hold all of those and get them in the right way. Yellow, blue, red, and there's purple. I was trying to figure out which color I was missing. So you're getting 5 different colorways, 10 of each. Really, really lovely little things, these, and you can see how strong and sturdy they are. I've had mine for years and they're still going. Never once had a complaint from Sylvia, so it must be working well. This is a box of 50, £28.99. Really lovely product, this, and I think any person who does any form of quilting, bag making, really great product there. And now, of course, I've been mentioning it all day. I'm going to go back to our best press. Such a fabulous product. And where's the one I used? So you can see I used it on this earlier. It just makes everything lie nice and flat. And even after using it so long ago, it's got that gorgeous scent to it of lavender and vanilla. It helps you get all your creases out of your fabric as you go, makes everything nice and flat. It's got the lovely, lovely smell to it as well. That's $11.99 for 499 millilitres, isn't it? Yes, there's a small error there on our graphics. It's 499 millilitres there for $11.99 there. So there we go. Now we're going on to our hydrangea mega bundle. Oh, we've had this on a few times, and oh my goodness, is it just not gorgeous? I'm just going to show you this one while it's out. Look at that. These fabulous little sewing table. When you got for your sewing mat there, I'm going to just let that hang on the edge of the table there while I show you this. So you've got this fabulous bundle. 5 meters of fabric, 5 meters of fabric. Where am I going? Sorry, I'm just trying to find my right space there. There we go. 5 meters of fabric, and then you're getting this 60 centimeter panel as well. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 different fabrics, ½ meter of each one. And some of these are available by the ½ meter, but most of them are available only as the bundle. And then you've got this wonderful panel as well. So let me start by showing you this fabulous panel. This is now only available in the bundle. So Debbie Shaw used these, and she just put a border around it. It's just so effective. Look at the detailing on it. And those little bird houses, don't they look like beach huts? They're so good. And those colours on those hydrangeas are just gorgeous. And you can see how lovely those all are. So this is our panel that comes with our bundles. You'll see that it says they're 5 meters plus a 60 centimeter panel. That's our lovely panel that's included. This is only available in the bundle. I'm going to fold that way. I think that's right. So next we've got, so these next 4 fabrics are only available in the bundle as well. So I'll show you the ones that are available in the bundle. Look at the little Tweety birds on the line. Just very, very lovely, these. Not available other than in the bundle. Perfect. So that's the first one that's available in the bundle. These next 3 are also available only in the bundle. So that's our beautiful hydrangea. And you can see why these ones have flown out the door, because they're just so fabulous. This one's called Morning Glory, which I love. And then this is the purple floral way of so the detailing on it is so brilliant on that as well. So the rest of these fabrics are available by the ½ meter. So I'm going to show you these individually as well. So you're going to get ½ meter in the bundle that we've got, as well as then we've got these by the ½ meter. Tossed hydrangea on blue, $6.99 for a ½ meter of that. Next, we've got blue birdhouses. This again is $6.99 for the half metre. Birdhouses, blue birdhouses from the Hydrangea Birdsong range. All of these are by a designer called Henry Glass. Really incredible designer, that. I love them. And then next we've got the blue stripe. So anything that you're ordering by the half metre that we've popped graphics up with, not the bundle, the half metres, these will come, if you ordered 3 of them, that would come as a cut of 1.5 metres. If you ordered 3 of the bundles, they would come pre-cut by half metres. Unfortunately, we can't do those. They're already cut up, so you'll be buying 1 full bundle. This is the blue stripe from the Hydrangea Bluebird Song range. I feel like I've got this the wrong way around because our little birds are sideways. But these again, $6.99 for a half metre. Oh, we've had a message in from Julie. Hello, Julie. She'd like us to say happy birthday to her husband, Derek. Derek, happy birthday. Thank you so much for dropping a line. And I have to say, during the break, I was looking at the fan page and I've forgotten the lady's first name, but somebody with the surname Ingham have started making this bag and made the June Taylor bag in another colourway. Well done. It looks stunning. Might have been Leslie. I'm so sorry I forgot your name then. This is now the next colourway in this. These are available by the half metre as well. What's this one called, Kat? Called Tossed Hydrangeas on White. The detailing on these florals look so incredible. But what's great about the background is you can actually see that there's a very light swirl in the background as well. So it's not just a dead white background on it. Really, really lovely design, that one. This is again available by the half metre. If you're wanting a metre, you'd buy 2 pieces and it would come together as one single metre piece. Just touching back onto the fan page, anybody who does post on there, we do see them and it's so refreshing to see all your comments and all your ideas and everything that you're making. So please, if you haven't stayed in touch with us on social media, the Sewing Street fan page is really lovely, as well as our Facebook page, Sewing Street TV. So stay in touch with us that way as well. This one is the Blue Scenic from Hydrangea Birdsong range. And just look at that. Isn't it terrible? I want to say to the birds, they're not social distancing. Those were the days back before. And then the last one you can buy by the half metre is the one I'm about to show you. Hasn't my folding improved? This is called Small Blocks, and look how cute that is. See, what I love about this is this I would definitely buy for the backing of a quilt, because I like my backs to be really, really exciting and vibrant. And these are just so perfect to be able to pop as a backing, which I think would be really, really good. So again, if you didn't fancy any of these by the half metre, you can buy the whole lot. So you've got 10 different fabrics here, which are half metres each. Hopefully I'm going to be in the right camera, sort of. But not only do you get those 10 half metre pieces, you're also getting that 60 centimetre panel in that bundle. Really great fabrics, these. And again, available by the half metre on the ones that we showed you there. So do have a little look on the website. But don't hang around because we've had lots of sales on these. Just a few samples. This was a little sewing machine mat that you could hang off the edge of your table. You can then pop your sewing machine on that as well. The fabulous Debbie Shaw, I'm sure, did these fabulous bags. And I get into trouble every time I look inside Debbie's bags. But every time you do, you get some fabric. Just a beautiful, beautiful bag, that one. And then we've also got this fabulous one as well. But then, of course, we've just had such a wonderful flurry of bags today. Look at this. We've got this one which Cara very kindly made for us and shared her tutorial on how to do it as well. This is using the June Taylor Quilt As You Go Sophie Tote bag bundle. Let me show you that again. Oh. So this is the finished product there. This is how much you have left over, because most of us always want to know how much you get left over. Huge amounts. You can definitely... I'm wondering if you've got enough there to make a second bag. I think you do. So you get this wonderful kit, the Sophie tote bag kit. Oh, it's very bright in the studio. So there we go. That's our tote bag kit. You've got 4 fat quarters with it. You've got a 1/2 meter of fabric, which will be your lining. And you get one of our design rolls, 16 strips, 2.5 inches by 55. All of those together for $39.99 in order for you to make this fabulous bag and have loads and loads of fabric left over. I have to thank Cara again so much for your demo. It was lovely. So, what's coming up tomorrow? Well, the very first thing we're going to do is happy birthday, Vicky. I hope you have a fabulous day, sweetheart. And everybody who's tuning in, make sure you tune in. There are going to be lots of birthday treats for everybody. So stay in touch with us with that. So we've got Vicky and Strapology XL ruler in the morning. At 8 a.m. Then we've got the Moda fabric, Morris May. And then we have Twilight Zone quilt with Sally Ann Harrison. How fabulous. So thank you all so much for joining us today. I've had a really wonderful time showing you everything that we've got. I'm wondering if Debbie will notice if that disappears to my studio. I think she will, but I'll leave it there. Stay in touch on our social media. We've got Sewing Street TV on Facebook, which is our channel-run Facebook page. We've also got the Sewing Street fans page, as well as our fabulous Instagram, which is at Sewing Street. If you haven't been able to catch our show live today, make sure you tune into our YouTube channel, which is Sewing Street on YouTube. And if you click subscribe, you'll be notified every single time something comes up with a new video. And all the videos of all the shows we've done will be on there. I can't thank you enough all for your time. Hope you have a great day. Go well. Bye-bye.